Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Haar Disciples Ballpark. It is Monday, Easter Monday, April the 10th, 2023. My name is Tim Collins, and I am absolutely overjoyed to be here in this ballpark today, where for the first time in the Bundesliga this year, I believe we have a sun appearance during the same time as an actual baseball game that will be played. And I'm going to be joined by a number of guests today, but the first person I'd like to introduce you to my left, the former head coach of the Haar Disciples, also former player in the Bundesliga with the Tübingen Hawks, Mr. Alex Tufts. Alex, how you doing?
Pretty good. Different perspective here today, certainly for me, but excited to be here with you and hopefully witness a good baseball game.
Yeah, the Heidenheim Heideköpfe come in. They, of course, always one of the powerhouses of the Bundesliga South. You see the meeting at the home plate taking place right now. The Heideköpfe come in with a record of 2-0. They won their opener against Mannheim, and then they had a rainout, and then there was a offensive spectacle, I guess you could say, a couple days ago. They knocked the ball out of the park 5 times. And that was against, of course, the Haar Disciples. The Disciples 0-3. They lost a couple of they lost a nail-biter in the opener, and then they lost a more pedestrian 4-1 game, both to the newly promoted Hohenstetten Storm, excuse me. And that was on opening weekend last weekend. Then they got drubbed, as I mentioned a couple days ago. They are looking to right the ship. They have Steven Norell going. And there's a whole bunch of changes in the lineup this year for the Haar Disciples, and it'll be interesting to see how they develop. On paper, it looks like a very good team. They've just had a rough weekend, but I think and we think that they can turn it around.
It's not going to get any easier next week against Regensburg. No better time like today
right.
than to turn things around. You got your import pitcher on the mound. Nice day. A lot of people in the ballpark here. Let's see if Steven Norell can lead the way. Get one in the win column for the Disciples. But facing a very tough lineup from the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. Got to feel pretty good if you're Heidenheim coming in here full bullpen. Didn't have to use too many pitchers Saturday. Just Schuler and Scheele, I believe. So you got to feel good if you're Heidenheim coming in here to cover 9 with a full bullpen of pitchers.
Right. They're going to start with Jared Mortensen, the 34-year-old who's very experienced, pitched as high as AAA a couple of years ago. And then they also have Mike Bolsenbrook, who, is pretty much the greatest pitcher in the history of the Bundesliga and still going strong. I don't know if you've had a chance to mess around with Ty Erickson's stat database, but man, I found some fun facts, which we will be going through in the course of this game. And Bolsenbrook, who's waiting in the wings today, is he's pretty much the guy. Like, he's the third most innings pitched in the Bundesliga, behind I think Eugen Heilmann and Andre Hughes, and I think only 8 pitchers who have pitched over 1,000 innings in the Bundesliga. His ERA of 2.19 is number one. So, that's your bullpen today.
Yeah, record speaks for itself, and he's done a great job transitioning to the bullpen and becoming more of a reliever. Obviously, with Mortensen starting, he's probably looking to finish things off today. And speaking of Mortensen, he's been I thought he was an underrated pitcher last year, sort of in the shadow of Caleb Bowman, who got so much attention just because of the outrageous numbers he put up. But Mortensen was equally as good, in my opinion. Strike thrower, throws all his pitches for strikes, can go really deep in the game. I'm not sure if we'll see that today, but he was as high as 170 pitches last year in Bonn. Like I said, I don't think we'll see that today, but he's a guy who can go the distance, extremely dominant pitcher, and I thought he's one of the top pitchers in the league. Overshadowed a little bit last year, though.
Well, he was second in ERA behind Bowman, and his ERA was, merely to 1.25. That was not including the playoffs, but he pitched well in the playoffs as well. Finished the season with a record of 10-1. Meanwhile, the Disciples are taking the field. They're going to send a defensive alignment with Nick Michelli, newly imported from, Bonn. He's from Connecticut, but he's also a Portuguese-American, so he has a European passport. And he's playing third base. The shortstop is Callum Murphy. Second baseman is Nate Sean Thomas. And the first baseman is David Wallace. Doing the catching is Will Thorpe. He'll be catching the right-hander from Keller, Texas, Steven Norell. Norell, who pitched 4 innings last weekend against Hohenstetten, but just getting his feet wet in the Bundesliga. He's a big right-hander, 6'4", 240, works from the first base side of the mound. And the outfield defense from left to right, it's Niels Schmidt in left, Joe Rosenthal in center, and Justin Olich is in right field, as also a new player for the Haar Disciples. So we will see what Norell brings to the mound against a lineup for the Heidenheim Heideköpfe that begins with Konstantin Hall, the left fielder, and then Drew Janssen, the shortstop, will bat second. Gary Owens, third all-time in the Bundesliga with home runs, 88 career home runs. We'll talk more about that in a moment. He's batting third, playing center field. Will Germain, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Sean Larry in right field, he's batting fifth. Now Larry has 80 career home runs, so he's fourth all-time in the Bundesliga. So there's a lot of career home run leaders in the Heidenheim Heideköpfe lineup. Kilian Redler hit his first home run, I believe, in the Bundesliga last weekend. He's catching and playing, he's batting sixth. Maurice Montgomery, the designated hitter, will bat seventh. Simon Liedke, the young second baseman, will bat eighth. Timo Plitz is playing third base and batting ninth. As I mentioned, they're going to send Jared Mortensen to the mound. So that's the lineup that Steve Norell is going to face. As you see, the big right-hander. You can also see Joe Rosenthal. Not a lot of good angles that I can put that center field camera where you're not going to sometimes see the center fielder standing in the way. So hopefully you'll be able to witness all of the pitches from a nice view there. We just got a good look at a sharp breaking ball, looked like, from Norell. Norell, just, this is the first I've seen of him. He looks like he has good stuff.
He's a sinker baller pitcher. It's really going to, I think, his the trajectory for Haar today.
It's loud, I know. Okay, yeah, you can talk. It's okay.
All right. Still working out the kinks here. First time rookie.
I don't even have the crowd mic on. That's just how loud it is.
Yeah, gotcha. No, he's a sinker baller guy. He's gonna have to get a lot of ground balls, keep the ball in the ballpark. Obviously, with a ton of power in the middle of the lineup. That's going to be essential today, but let's see if he can get that low strike. If he can get that sinker ball going, get a lot of ground balls, can be a lot of pitch ball contact outs for the Disciples, and could be a great start for him.
First pitch is right through there for a strike called by home plate umpire Lars Doling. First base umpire Ilyar Jean, and the third base umpire Patrick Meister. Three-man crew. Nothing in one. We are underway. Konstantin Hall's first at bat today. Fastball is high, 1-1. Hull has had four at bats, 5 plate appearances for the, if you want to be super correct about it. He was 1 for 4. And that one off the corner, 2-1. Did that look like a cutter or a slider to you, Alex?
Looked like a fastball.
Okay.
Sinker down in the zone.
Sometimes from this angle, it's hard for me to tell, but swing and a miss. Yeah. Swung over the top of that one.
It's a good sign for Norell. Guys are swinging over top of that. Going to lead to some ground ball outs, hopefully.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Infield back and straight away. That's outside, full count. We should also mention, in this league, there is no banning of the shift, although you also don't really see the shift so much. There's no pitch clock, but we do have 2 zombie runners once we get to extra innings. If we do, swing and a miss, got him. And the first strikeout is in the books for Steve Norell. Let's take a look at this on the replay. As Konstantin Hall, that pitch looked like it was running in on his hands and went under the bat head. 2-seamer?
Yeah, sinker. Looks good so far. Just got to get it for a strike. Got to get guys to swing over top of it or beat it into the ground. Going to keep the pitch count down, too.
Now, one thing I have to mention, actually, the stats that I have in front of me do not include Saturday's game. So Drew Janssen, prior to Saturday, had been 0 for 3, but he hit a home run. So yeah. I know he's not 0 for 3.
Raised the average on Saturday for him, definitely.
And the OPS, for sure. So the pitch is a strike. So you know what? I'm not going to bother with the stats. Drew Janssen is a talented young player, though. He's Belgian. 0-1.
Ton of doubles last year.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I believe he's also the nephew of Steve Janssen.
Yeah. Very talented pitcher as well.
Yep. 1 ball, 1 strike. Norell working quickly, and he shows bunt and lays it down the third base line. That's going to trickle foul, and Thorpe picks it up. That's strike 2. Give a shout out to Mr. Randy Ewert watching in the chat. Servus. Thanks for that. By the way, if you'd like to communicate with me in English oder Deutsch, du kannst in die Chat reinschreiben. Ich habe immer ein Auge Darauf. I'm always keeping an eye on the chat. I don't know if I translated that perfectly or not, but you know, those of you who have heard me before, you're used to my Ganglish. So.
Mine's not much better. So.
Well, perfect. Then we make a perfect team. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one is up and away, 2-2. I kind of wonder if in major leagues having a pitch clock, if that's going to just trickle down and just speed up the pace of other leagues. There's a slow chopper left side. This is going to be a tough play, and that's going to be a base hit. Murphy looked like he had given up on it initially and then realized that Norell was not going to go for it and then charged a second time, but I think nobody was going to make the play on that. Jensen has a single.
It is April here in Germany. It is a little soft in the infield. Murphy, I think, just thought it was gonna die, and it pretty much did. But it's a good sign for Norrell that he's getting guys swinging on top of that, especially with some big bats coming up in the lineup here.
Speaking of,
keep the ball out of the air, keep it on the ground. 1 pitch away here.
Gary Owens steps up to the plate. This is his 9th season in the Bundesliga, but it seems like just yesterday. The pitch. That's a strike. The letters on the inside corner. Gary Owens hit a home run, I believe, the other day. And so he has 88 in his career. That's in 9 seasons. So if you think Simon Göring, who's ahead of him with 93, has played 21 seasons. And Max Bolt, who's the all-time leader with 103, has played 20 seasons. So Gary is catching up to those guys in half the time. The pitch is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Owen says he's left this ballpark a couple of times.
He's left a lot of ballparks in this league.
I think every single one.
Just a tremendous hitter. Covers the plate so well. It's hard to get. Oh.
And they picked him off first base. Yeah. Jensen was leaning, and I hit the wrong button, so you didn't see it exactly. But that's a good play by Norell as Jensen is picked off. 1-3, 2 down. Hilliard-Jean with the call right there, and Jensen, no argument. So let's see, where's the count? The count is 1-1 on Owens. 2 down suddenly, and he paints the outside corner with a good fastball. 1-2.
Always tricky as a base runner with a guy you've never seen before. Stephen Norrell, first year in the league, but got to get used to it quick. They'll learn from it.
And he's working from the first base side of the rubber. Slow tapper. Norell with the play, nice and relaxed, fires to first and gets Gary Owens by a step. And after the pickoff, it turns into a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. At the end of the very first half inning of play here, Heart Disciples Baseball, no score. This is Heart Disciples Baseball, and you know you've been waiting for it. Brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. That's Brauerei Wildbräu. So we'll bring it back here to the bottom of the first inning here at the home opener in Haar, and that's Jared Mortensen on the mound taking his warm-up pitches. Last year, his totals between the regular season and the playoffs, 10-1 record, 108 innings pitched, 123 strikeouts against only 17 walks and 19 earned runs. That is very good, as you mentioned, Alex. He was a little maybe overshadowed by Caleb Bowman, who really just knocked the bat out of the hands of the entire league. But Mortensen was also very good, 34-year-old right-hander from Canada. And the lineup he will face for the Heart Disciples begins with Joe Rosenthal, the center fielder. Callum Murphy, the shortstop, bats second. Will Thorpe, the catcher, bats third. Nate Sean Thomas, the second baseman, bats cleanup. Simon Lechner, the designated hitter, is going to bat fifth. Justin Olich, a new member of the Disciples this year, playing right field and batting 6th. Nick Michelli, also new. As I mentioned, he played with the Bonn Capitals, won the championship last year, and he moved to Munich, and he's now playing third base and batting 7th. David Wallace, the first baseman, bats 8th, and Niels Schmidt, the left fielder, is going to bat 9th. And Rosenthal will step up to the plate. Rosenthal had his first season in a Disciples uniform last year. Came over from the Cologne Cardinals, if I remember that correctly.
Correct.
Prior to Saturday's game, he had been 2 for 7. And so he's a guy who, when he puts the ball in play, he can run for a while. He's quick. So
he's got wheels.
Let's see.
A couple stolen bases this year as well.
And he bunts that one foul on the first pitch. Strike 1.
Bit of an advantage, I think, for Haar is that they've seen Mortensen before last year in Heidenheim. Hit against him for 6 or 7 innings. Does give you a bit of a boost when you've seen a guy before. But like we said, Mortensen's a very strong pitcher. Resume shows it. Very experienced, all the way up to AAA. It's going to be a tough go today.
I like how he's already ready in the set position before Rosenthal was in the box. It looked like, you know, he was ready to throw. There's a swing and a pop-up, foul territory off to the right, being chased by Germain. Maybe he has a play right in front of the dugout, and he reaches over, and he did not make the catch.
No, a little interference there by the newly mounted railings there.
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that was even there until just then.
Yeah, newly installed this spring to give a little protection to the dugouts and
that is true.
Make the park a little bit more hitter-friendly, as you saw there.
Yeah, that would have – I mean, it's not like it's an easy thing to go over near the dugout and try to make a catch, especially if it's the opposing team's dugout.
Yeah.
0-2 on Rosenthal. Mortensen working from the stretch exclusively, and that pitch missed the outside corner. 1-2.
It's maybe the most hitter-friendly you'll get here in this park. For those at home, by my measurement, it's 554 to the base of the fence in center field.
I thought it was 454.
454, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
554 would be something.
Would be real deep.
There's a comebacker fielded by Mortensen. He makes the play himself, and that's the first out of the first inning, to the delight of the Heidenheim fans who are seated directly in front of me with all their noisemakers. As many of you have ever, watching these games, you've noticed that before. Schöne Grüße an Jara Drobny von Stuttgart Reds TV. Vielen Dank, dass ihr mich eingeschaltet habt. Und ich habe auch Tobi Nagatz, ehemaliger Pitcher von den Tübingen Hawks, der hat gesagt, hey, Haar Disciples Geheimtipp, like a dark horse for leading the league in stolen bases this year.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe you don't know that David Dinsky is not on the team anymore, but still, might happen. There's a swing and a high fly off the bat of Murphy into foul ground off to the left, and Plitz is under it and makes the catch for out number 2. That's Timo Plitz.
Might depend on how many games you see Nate Thomas in the lineup. It's great to see him back in the lineup today, hitting in the 4-hole. Always a stolen base threat, and Rosenthal in that leadoff spot, I think he'll get a lot of opportunities to steal bases as well.
So that was Callum Murphy who just popped up, and Will Thorpe will step up to the plate. I failed to give you the rest of the defensive alignment for Heidenheim, so let's do that quickly. Timo Plitz is at third base. Drew Jansen playing shortstop. Simon Liedke is playing second. Will Germain is playing first. The outfield, Konstantin Holl in left, Gary Owens in center, Sean Larry is in right. Pitch is low to Will Thorpe. The catcher is Kilian Redle, and this is the first time, in quite a while. I mean, every once in a while I've seen it, but I mean, Simon Göring has been the catcher for more than 20 years, doing the brunt of the work. Pitch is a strike.
And Yannick Walter, the last couple years also filling in for Simon as well, but unfortunately for Walter and unfortunately for Heidenheim, he was signed by the Milwaukee Brewers, starting his professional career.
Oh, that's always something you love to see.
Yeah.
1-2 on Will Thorpe as Mortensen painted the outside corner. That one's up and in. 2-2 now. Two and two to Will Thorpe. Ground ball towards short. Jansen on a bunch of bounces, fields, throws, and gets his man. 1, 2, 3 go to the Disciples. No runs, no hits, no errors, no nothing. We go to the second inning here in Haar. No score between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu.
Yeah, I'll give a Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu.
I know everybody's
No, you said it wrong. You said it wrong. It's Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu.
That's the right way. We got to get Andreas to say that later. Don't worry. We'll give Andreas a lesson on how to say Brauerei Wildbräu. Herzlich willkommen here im zweiten inning. We return to the second inning here in Haar. No score, a couple of clean innings on the scoreboard for both pitchers. Steve Norell for the Haar Disciples and Jared Mortensen for the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. For Norell, he's going to face 4, 5, and 6. Will Germain, Sean Larry, and Kilian Redle. And for the second inning, I'm joined at my side by the esteemed Mr. Andreas Thies. Andreas, servus, wie geht's dir?
Sehr, sehr gut.
Ich habe die Ehre. Wir machen das jetzt auf Bayerisch. Obwohl du kein Bayer bist.
Ich bin kein Bayer, ich kann's auch nicht.
Ich bin echter Bayer. The fast curveball looked like it was high. To Will Germain. Also wir machen dann jetzt Englisch für euch. Swing and a miss. That was a good curveball. 1-1. Germain has a lot of power. Came into the league with the Stuttgart Reds. And then I think, did he play for Ulm as well? I believe he did. Yes. And now with Heidenheim. Pitches low. 2-1. So Andreas. Freust du dich wieder hier im Ballpark Haar zu sein?
Total. Happy Home Opening Day, möchte man sagen.
Ja, danke. Ja, also mein Home ist sowieso offen. Aber there's a fly ball, right field, down the line, tailing foul, long run, and it's going to land for strike 2. It was being chased by Olic in right field.
No, it's great to have baseball in your daily life back again. So.
Yeah. And you've been covering MLB for Sport 1. Mm-hmm. And also with your podcast, Just Baseball.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of new things going on in Major League Baseball.
We have these
and
new
in the
rules.
Bundesliga.
We have these new rules, and as I watched the World Baseball Classic with the old rules, I just thought the whole time, wait, just throw the damn ball.
Yeah. But man, the WBC was
amazing.
Was fire.
Yeah.
The WBC is, in my opinion, the greatest sport event in the world. Curveball got him looking on the outside corner. That was a knee buckler. First out. Nice pitch from Norell. Take another look at this on the instant replay. We're high tech here in Haar. Germain with that crouch, and that's just right on the corner. Good pitch from Norell. So, one down, and that'll bring up Sean Larry. Now Larry, left-hand hitter who murders really, the whole league, but seems to murder the Disciples especially. But I don't think that that's actually anything special compared to what other teams in the league experience. I'll explain why in a moment. Left-hand hitter, needless to say, he has power. He hit a home run, I believe, on Saturday. Pitches a strike. The count is, I believe, 0-2. Was the first pitch called a strike? I missed it.
I think so too, yeah.
So, yeah, 0-2.
0-2, yeah.
Yeah, the pitch clock in MLB. It's all the talk of the town. Although I think already, like on the Yes Network, they stopped showing it. Like it's not even in the scorebug anymore. That's how quickly it's sort of faded into the background, which I think is nice.
It's totally nice, and the feel for the game is so much better than the last years.
Yeah.
No one's adjusting the batting gloves, and
no Mar Garcia Parra.
Yeah, everyone just stands in the batter box and just waiting for the pitch, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, I think it's been a boon. Even here's the pitch. There's a swing, a pop-up, foul. No, the wind is going to probably blow that foul. Long run, and it's just out of the reach of Schmidt, who was way over in left center field and had to basically run a marathon to get even close to that ball.
Da lag Schnee drauf.
Da lag Schnee drauf. Da hat jemand ein Kerz geschossen. Da lag Schnee drauf. That's one of the phrases you taught me, like on a high pop-up. What do I say for a pop-up? Because in English we say it's a home run in an elevator shaft. and in German you say da lag Schnee drauf, which means it comes down with snow on it, basically. That actually, if the wind wasn't blowing left to right, that would have probably been in center field. 2-2 on Larry. That one is drilled to deep center field. Long run for Rosenthal. It's over his head all the way to the gate. Larry rounds first, heads for second for base. He's going to keep going. Here comes the relay throw. Might be close. He is out. Oh. He is out. What a throw.
What a throw.
Rosenthal to Nate Thomas, received on the back end by Michelli, and Larry looked surprised to see the ball there before him. So that's a double, and then he's thrown out trying to stretch it to a triple.
We have seen some great plays today.
Yeah.
Pick-off.
Yeah, the pickoff. So so far the defense tight. And look at Larry try to pull up and do the stop short and jump over the tag, but the ball was so far ahead of him that he had no chance. So 2 down, nobody on. Killian Redle hit a home run on Saturday, takes a fastball high for a ball. And this is so far what I had kind of expected. You know, you see the Disciples, the way they started the season, and they seem to be a much better team than how their beginning has gone. And so far, we're seeing a normal baseball game here, and that's what you want to see. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, says Ilyarjan. Breaking ball, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Haven't watched the Hünstetten games. That was a tough opening for them.
It was. I only saw, I only read the reports basically after the facts. But, immediately you saw there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. We'll talk about that more, I guess, in the next half inning. But good beginning. 2 strikeouts in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. End of 1.5. No score. But, very quickly, the Hünstetten, they got to be happy about the way they started their tenure in the Bundesliga. It's not often that an Aufsteiger, goes immediately into the books with a couple of wins. So for their side, good luck. But you saw the 7-inning zombie runner rule also kick in immediately, and that was something I had completely forgotten about. But anyway, we'll get into that after the break. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the
Brauerei Wildbräu.
Right, and for those that didn't understand, Brauerei Wildbräu, that's what that is. We are back for the bottom of the second inning. Tim Collins with Andreas Thies. And Nathan Thomas will step up to the plate. 4, 5, and 6. Thomas, Simon Lechner, and Justin Olich against Jared Mortensen. Machen wir dieses halbes Inning auf Deutsch dann?
Sehr gerne.
Okay, super, machen wir. Ich brauche sowieso Übung.
Seit wann spielt Nathan Thomas bei den Disciples? Das ist auch schon ein paar Jahre her, ne?
Das ist, glaube ich, 2015. Swing and a Miss. Strike Nummer 1. Ja, 2015 oder 16. Es kann auch, ich glaube, er hat ein Jahr in Bad Homburg gespielt.
Genau.
Vorher. It's the type of thing that I should know off the top of my head, but es ist überraschend, wie die Jahre wirklich zusammengeschmissen wird. Auch extra wegen der Pandemie. Also ich habe wirklich keine Erinnerung von 2021, bisschen von 22.
Die Jahre 20 und 21 hat es nicht gegeben.
Ja. Also ich erinnere nur, dass die Bonn Capitals letztes Jahr gewonnen haben. Und das ist nur, weil ich da selber war. Das ist
Die Dodgers haben auch 2020 nicht die Meisterschaft gewonnen.
ja.
Ist nicht passiert.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Thomas. Foul Ball. Immer noch 1 und 2. Sehr defensive Schwung von Thomas. Der hat, glaube ich, diesen Off-Speed-Pitch weggekämpft. Is that a good way to describe it? Weggekämpft?
Weggekämpft ist nicht unbedingt die beste Beschreibung.
Nicht unbedingt die beste. Okay. Dann du kannst mir die beste. Der hat verteidigt.
Er verteidigt, genau.
Yes. Der Breaking Ball hat knapp verpasst. Knapp die Kante getroffen unten. Aber Lars Doling sagt nein, der war zu tief. Oder? Irgend sowas.
Ja, der war zu tief. Das ist gut.
2 und 2. And fastball. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Erste Strikeout für Mortensen. Warst du letztes Mal auch im Stadion hier bei uns? Letztes Jahr?
Letztes Jahr war ich ein-, zweimal hier, ja.
Okay. Und was sind die letzten Spiele, die du für Sport 1 kommentiert hast in den letzten Monaten? Hast du was gemacht schon dieses Jahr?
Ich habe das Eröffnungsspiel der New York Yankees gegen die San Francisco Giants
kommentiert. Cool. The Yankees won.
Ja, und gleich.
There's a good bunt by Lechner. Throw to first, and he kept his foot on the bag, did Jermaine. Good play by Killian Redle, who pounced on that ball. I forgot to switch the camera, so you couldn't see it. So you just have to take my word for it. It was a nice play. Lechner trying to bunt for a hit. He actually laid it down quite well, but he's thrown out 2-3.
Ja, gleich erstes At-Bat von Aaron Judge mit einem Home Run.
Yes, super. Ja, das hat mich gefreut. Ich war eigentlich beim Konzert. Ich habe es nur mitverfolgt. Olich takes a strike. Olich is a Croatian American. Swings and misses. Former Hamburg Steeler. He's grown up in Burnaby, which is a suburb of Vancouver. Attended Douglas College. He's going to turn 24 in a couple of weeks. So he's 23 at the moment. And he's behind 0-2. That pitch is outside. So Aaron Judge gegen die San Francisco Giants.
Ja, und das war halt das erste Spiel, was ich dann auch kommentieren konnte mit den neuen Regeln.
Aha.
Und
fly ball left center field. This should be playable for Hull. He is under it now, drifts to his right, and makes the catch. Quick inning for Mortensen. Keep going. It's all good.
Was ich sagen wollte, es bleibt nicht mehr so viel Zeit für andere Geschichten während eines Spiels.
Ja.
Das macht die Sache dann auch wieder noch schneller. Und
Ja,
noch
kannst du
schneller.
nichts mehr über, Tungstenarm O'Doyle erzählen.
Während die Angels 3-8 gegen die Detroit Tigers verloren haben.
Genau. Ja, Shohei Ohtani, aber der hat auch der macht ständig neue Rekorde.
Ja.
Jedes Spiel, was er macht, das ist total lustig.
Letzte Nacht gab es ein fantastisches Spiel gegen die Toronto Blue Jays. Die Angels führten mit 6-0 sehr früh, lagen dann mit 10-6 zurück, kamen dann im 9. Inning, Bottom of the 9th, auf 10-10 wieder ran und im Bottom of the 11th mit Zombie Runner, Mike Trout mit dem Walk, Bases loaded 11-12 und Shohei Ohtani am Schlag. Und dann war es allerdings ein Strikeout oder ich glaube Groundout von Shohei Ohtani. Dann Groundout und dann 11-12. Ganz aufregendes Spiel letzte Nacht.
Ja, hast du das kommentiert oder nur zugeschaut?
Nee, ich hab's nur
Ja, okay. Ja, man. Also ich habe von gesterns Ergebnis habe ich nur, ich kenne nur, was bei den Yankees-Orioles passiert ist und alles andere ist mir komplett
Es ist alles
vorbeigegangen.
völlig egal, auch was woanders passiert. Es sind nur die Yankees, die entscheidend sind. Ne?
Ja, und ja, genau. Das ist die einzige Mannschaft,
sagt er
die...
mit der Boston Red Sox-Kappe hier.
Ja, ich weiß. Du darfst auch jetzt neben mir sitzen. Also das ist okay, Steve Norrell going back to work. He's going to deal with 7, 8, 9. Both pitchers have set down the order, you know, with the minimum. Norrell is allowed 2 base runners, but he picked one of them off, and the other was thrown out trying to stretch a double into a triple. So it's going to be Montgomery, Liedtke, and Plitz. Maurice Montgomery, the designated hitter. Simon Liedtke, the second baseman, and Timo Plitz, the third baseman, against Steve Norrell. And, you know, I actually did not check. I hope I'm pronouncing Norrell correctly. It could be Norrell. So if anybody knows and you want to correct me in the chat, I just, sometimes with the names that yeah, anyway. You should never assume anything is what I've learned, and I forgot to ask, but I think it's Norrell. So I'm just going to go with that until somebody tells me otherwise. Anyway, forgot to mention that this ball game is brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Here we go for the top of the third inning. No score. And that pitch comes in a bit high to Montgomery, 1-0.
It's so nice to be back in the ballpark. It's April, first spring day here, first real spring day here in Munich.
There's a foul. Yeah, it's a spring day, but it's also still Munich, so that means I'm wearing my winter coat because it's windy.
It's a little bit chilly here where you're sitting.
Yes, and you know, I have that little space heater. I should have brought it, honestly, but it's all right. Pitch is low and outside. 2-1. Also, was siehst du jetzt, was meinst du von den Pitches von Norrell soweit?
Bislang, finde ich, macht er einen richtig guten Job.
Foulball.
Was Alex Tubbs eben auch gesagt hat, Sinkerball, dass wir ein paar Groundouts hier erleben. Ein bisschen Pech gehabt im ersten Inning, dann mit den 2 quasi Choppern da. Aber ansonsten macht er bislang einen sehr, sehr guten Eindruck.
2-2. Yeah, he looks like a guy who throws a heavy ball. Curveball. There's a little tapper rolled out to Nate Thomas. Lots of time. He juggles, throws, and just barely gets him.
That was close.
Yeah, no such thing as a routine play here in the Bundesliga. You have to remember that. That's one of the things. So, 1 up, 1 down. Montgomery rolls out, and that'll bring up Simon Liedtke. So, got a couple of shout-outs I got to give. Shout-outs hi to Mom and Dad, Thomas and Irene Hirsch von Heidenheim. You're welcome, Gilbert. Ich gehe davon aus, dass die gleichen Leute von dem Hotel Hirsch in Heidenheim, wo ich mehrmals übernachtet habe. Sehr schöne Hotel. Curveball strike for Simon Liedtke. And that pitch is low. Looked like an off-speed pitch. 1-1. I see somebody's asking, who's interested in the Yankees? Well, I'll tell you who. Me. Ground ball to short. Murphy with a nice play behind the bag. Throw to first. Got him.
It's a great question.
Hey, you know what? If you grow up a Yankees fan, you just kind of stay one. I mean, I will. To my defense, my first year of being a Yankee fan was 1989, and you can go and check Baseball Reference. They were not a good team at that time. They were very, very, very bad, not good, all terrible. What's that? Very, very bad, terrible, no good.
That's okay that you're the Yankees fan. Everybody has a dark place.
Pitch to Timo Plitz is a ball up and in. I was born in Boston, and we have somebody watching from Boston. Hello, Tyrone. Thanks for writing in. Pitch is a strike.
And I'm the Red Sox fan.
You're the Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
Well, the Red Sox, they're the new Yankees because they've won the most recently, like in the last 20 years.
Don't say that.
1-1 the pitch. Another slow number back to the mound and juggled by Norrell, and he has no play. And it looked like he maybe stumbled a little bit, maybe twisted his left ankle. He is hobbling just ever so slightly. And so now Ryan Bollinger and Ryan Saunders, the pair of Ryans, are going to come out and check on Norrell, who looked like he maybe lost his footing coming off the mound on that one. Let's take another look at that. That's going to be a base hit for Plitz. Watch how he stumbles. He stumbled right there, his third step off the mound. And you just hope it's not like a hamstring or something, and that he maybe just jammed himself a little bit and it caused a bit of temporary pain. He's kicking at the dirt. And he appears to be okay. He has told Ryan Bollinger and Saunders what they needed to hear, and he's just going to go back to work. He's going to do a little gardening there on the dirt on the mound, it looks like, as well. Should also mention it's nice to see Ryan Bollinger back in Haar.
It is.
Bollinger, of course, basically the most dominant season in the history of the Bundesliga for a pitcher. As the lineup turns over, Konstantin Holl steps up, and the pitch is low, ball one.
He won't pitch anymore, will he?
He is recovering from a foot injury, and then when that happens, I think he's going back to Taiwan to pitch. So, yes, he's still under contract in the CPBL, from what I understand. Had a couple of really great years there. Of course, if you don't know the story, there's another check on the runner at first. This time, Plitz dives back. Norell picked off Drew Jensen in the first inning. That time he bounced the throw, and it was a good pick by Wallace. But yeah, Bollinger in 2017 had nearly 300 strikeouts in 100-plus innings. And he ended up getting signed and called up for a day to the major leagues with the New York Yankees.
With the New York Yankees, yeah. That was just a joy to watch him pitch here in Haar.
He did not get into a game with the Yankees, and then he was, soon thereafter, I think he was replaced on the roster by Lance Lynn. So, and then after that sort of, it was a springboard in his career. He went to the CPBL. Curve, and that's a beauty.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to be replaced by Lance Lynn, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the other person that they had, it was like Jonathan Loizaga, Lance Lynn, and one of those needed to be on the roster. So, okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one yanked a bit too far. 2-2. Looked like perhaps Norell trying to go for a little extra on that one. Holl struck out to begin the game. He's 0 for 1. Yeah.
Am I remembering that right? Only Sean Larry put that ball in the air?
I think you're correct. Yeah, Sean Larry is the only one to hit a ball not on the ground. Curve, and that's a beauty. No doubt, strike 3 call. That is the third strikeout. No, excuse me. 4th strikeout. Second one looking for Steve Norell. And the Heideköpfe get a hit, but nothing else. And we will go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here in Haar. No score. So far, so good for both pitchers on this one. And bottom of the 3rd inning coming up. No score between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Right, Andres?
Brauerei Wildbräu, yeah.
Brauerei Wildbräu, exactly, yes. So we are back for the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Andreas went to go get a burger, and so Alex Tufts back into the I don't know, what do we call this? Not the penalty box.
Booth.
Booth is also kind of a strong word.
More creative name. Just one correction while I was gone, Tim.
Yeah.
Justin Olic is a Croatian Canadian.
Yes.
Not a Croatian American.
I think I said Croatian American, and then he grew up in Vancouver, which I should have,
Yeah. If I don't correct you on the Canadian American difference, nobody will. So.
Yes. There's a bunt down the 3rd base side. A beauty. Charging his Plitz. Bare hand throw. Safe. That was as close as it can get. And motoring down the line was Nick Michelli. He beats out a bunt, and he's aboard to begin things here. 7-8-9 for the Disciples against Jared Mortensen. That was well played by the third baseman, Blitz.
Very well played. I thought they had him, to be honest, but I think maybe the safe call there by first base coach Miguel Pinero tipped the scales a little bit.
We all know that the first base coach is definitely capable of influencing the umpire, yeah. Sarcasm, hashtag. Anyway, David Wallace will step up to the plate. Wallace playing first base today. Michelli is now the runner at first base. You wonder if he might try to take off. He's got a very short lead right now. Not going. The pitch is a strike. Fastball from Mortensen. That's the second attempt for a bunt that we've seen. I think Lechner did that earlier as well. And he was thrown out on a really nice play by Killian Redley, the catcher. Let's see now. The umpire, Patrick Meister, is standing directly in the way of the center field camera. Well, I'm going to have a chat with him after the game. So ist es in der Bundesliga. Pitch. This ball lifted in the air off the end of the bat, and it's into left center field, and the catch is made by Konstantin Hull. And Michelli returns to first base. There's one away. Thought for a minute maybe there's a chance that might drop in.
Yeah, the wind's coming right to left, right?
It is, yeah.
Out towards the bullpen in left field there. So I thought it might knock it down there, but no, I just hung up long enough.
And so Neil Schmidt will step up to the plate. Schmidt, a guy who has a lot of swing and miss in his game, but when he connects, he's got a lot of power.
He's been getting on base a lot this year. Had 3 or 4 walks, I think, against Hunstetten. So
pitches up and in,
and a hit by pitch. So.
Remember, he ran into a couple. He had a few home runs last year, I believe. One of them was in this ballpark. It was a blast.
He's got light tower power.
Yeah. That's a good phrase. I like that. Swinging and a miss. Trying to dig that low pitch out around the knee area, it looked like. He's got long levers. I remember Will Thorpe telling me a couple of years, I think it was last year, you guys had some new technology that could measure exit velocity and things like this, and Niels was one of the guys that was at the top of the leaderboards. There's a pitch upstairs, 2-1.
He's got a pretty good eye on the high ones too, and Mortensen. You'll see a big contrast in the way the starting pitchers use their fastballs today. Mortensen's more of a top of the zone guy. Norell's more of a low in the zone guy. So see how the umpire reacts on where the strike zone is.
There's a swing and a miss and a throw behind Michelli, and he gets back. So the count is now 2-2. I'm sort of half expecting some sort of running game to take place, although now with 2 strikes, I kind of doubt it. If it was going to happen, it would have been probably on that last pitch, I think.
Yeah.
Michelli is short lead. He has not extended it at all, so I don't think he's going to be going here.
Michelli, if he gets a good jump, wouldn't be surprised to see him take off. Try to get into scoring position.
Sorry, I think we just had a momentary technical difficulty, so I'm going to focus on that. You did play-by-play for a minute.
No problem, yeah. Got you covered. Ball inside. First pitch to Rosenthal. Michelli looks a little active over there at first base. Got a little bit of speed. Foul tip, strike 1. Good cut there from Rosenthal. He's got a good amount of power, tons of speed. Very good defensive outfielder. Michelli's increasing his lead a little bit here. 1-1 pitch. Curveball, foul tip again. It's not called originally, but later called.
All right, I think we're back. I think maybe the stream was out for a second, but it should be back. Anyway, let me know in the comments. But you can keep going because I wasn't paying attention at all. No idea what's happening.
Okay.
What's the count?
1-2.
1-2, okay. Now, Michelli was running on that pitch. Yeah. Shout out to Heavy Metal Bar Piano. Thanks for tuning in. Got the regulars in the Mad Max is there, Lance is there, Randy Ewert is there, Thomas Hirsch, Hauke Brockmann. I know Hauke. Servus, Hauke. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Mortensen puts away Rosenthal to end the inning. And at what point would you officially call it a pitcher's duel? I think 3 innings is not enough, but so far so
I
good.
don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, they're settling in nicely. I mean, that was a big question mark for the Disciples. I mean, they got blown out 15-0 the other day. Starter got knocked out in the first game. Really needed your import pitcher to come out and give you a good start today, and Norrell's done that so far. Don't want to jinx things, but yeah, he's getting that sinker low in the zone, and the Heidenheim guys are hitting the top of it right into the ground. It's played off for them one time. Actually, they got a base hit out of it, but bodes well for Norrell that he's getting a lot of balls hit into the ground, a lot of ground ball opportunities, especially with the middle of the lineup coming up here. You want to keep those power guys from lifting the ball over the fence.
Yeah, and he's also not too many pitches into the game here.
No, he's worked efficiently. He had no walks in his start against Hunstetten. So, yeah.
All right, we'll take a short break. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu.
That's right. Here we go to the top of the 4th inning already. No pitch clock, but we're moving right along. So baseball, a nice quick sunny afternoon here in Haar. And Steve Norrell going back to work against Drew Jansen. And he curves him on the first pitch, and it's in for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, Norrell's a college pitcher. I think he's used to the speed-up rules, which really, I think, benefit everybody.
That was his 46th pitch of the afternoon. And a swing and a foul makes it 0-2 very quickly on Jansen. Only 3 hits for the Heideköpfe, only 1 for the Disciples. The Heideköpfe have had 2 base runners make out on the base paths. Jansen was 1. He singled, hit a little dribbler that was in no man's land on the infield, reached first base, and then promptly was picked off. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. How about the pitching pattern that you see from Norrell?
Yeah, he's staying low in the zone. He's getting ahead in counts. Second look at the lineup here. Let's see how the Heidenheim hitters adjust.
If I remember correctly, he did not start Jansen with a curveball on the first at-bat, so he already changed it up this time.
Yeah.
He waited until the 4th pitch, that last one, to throw the fastball and put it in a good spot, up in the eyes, trying to get a chase. 2-2. Check swing. Did he go around? They appealed. No, he did not, says Ilyarjan. So the count is now full, 3-2.
It looks like he's able to expand that outside corner, which is huge. At this level, you're going to get a little bit of leadway if you're able to hit that spot, and yeah, a little bit of gamesmanship.
3-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Came down and in. That pitch looked like it was sinking. That might have been the sinker.
Sinker or changeup, yeah, but Jansen was over top of it.
That's first out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts for Mr. Norrell. Bueller. Here's Gary Owens. Owens grounded back to the pitcher his first time. And that one is in the dirt, ball 1. Owens also a proud papa, became a father last year. And his wife and son are in the house today. Pitches outside, a breaking ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. And I asked him what position and what instrument does, and apparently he's a pitcher and center fielder, pitcher and drummer, obviously.
Okay. You guys jammed together, right?
We have jammed together. Gary's an avid music fan. Pitches a breaking ball, fouled away, by the way, 1 and 2.
A drummer, right?
He plays bass. He plays drums. He sings. He's pretty much down to
like
do
you.
anything musically. Yeah,
like you. You're jack of all trades in the music department.
Yeah, try. You know, my ukulele got a lot better when I started teaching 6th grade class, that's for sure. But there's the pitch. Strike on the outside corner. I guess the count was 2-1, so now the count is 2-2. That was a good breaking ball from Nerel.
Yeah. Oh, good pitch.
Boy, yeah, but you know, Gary Owens, we mentioned it before. Owens uses pretty much the heaviest bat of anybody in the entire Bundesliga. It's like 37 ounces or something.
Yeah. He gets barrel to ball, though.
Yeah,
more times than not.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the pitch that looked like it disappeared. Owens turned around behind him, looked to see where it was. And that's 2 strikeouts to begin the inning for Steve Nerel. Very good. Here into the 4th with 2 outs.
I'm not sure if that wind is aiding his pitches at all, but they're diving down in the zone.
Yeah, you can see the movement on the center field camera there.
Yeah, which is great news for Haar. Keep that ball on the ground in the infield. Keep those big bats from hitting balls over the fence.
Jermaine was caught looking his first time, and he swings and fouls one at the plate off of Will Thorpe for a strike. 0-1, and Nerel checking on Will.
Just heading back to Saturday, I was going to say I haven't seen too many games where Bill Germain goes 0 for 3 and your team wins 15-0.
Yeah.
Speaks to the depth of this lineup.
Yeah, I mentioned a couple of the career statistics of Gary Owens and Sean Leary. That pitch is upstairs and outside. This lineup, I mean, when Simon Göring is in the lineup, you have 3 of the 4 top Bundesliga home run hitters ever in the same lineup.
Yeah. Outstanding power.
There's a little tapper in front of the plate. Thorpe picks it up, throws to first, and gets his man. Very, very strong performance through 4 innings so far for Steve Nerel. And the Haar Disciples remain scoreless with the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. No runs, no hits, no errors, no nothing. Bottom of the 4th inning coming up. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu. This guy. Welcome back to the bottom of the 4th inning. Boy, this game only 57 minutes long. You know, MLB pitch clock. Eat your heart out. We're speeding right along here. It's because of the excellent pitching of Jared Mortensen and Steven Nerel.
Can you jinx somebody from the booth?
No.
No? Okay.
As a matter of fact, that's not a real thing.
Baseball rules don't apply. Okay.
No, this is a pitch that's in there for a strike to Cal Murphy. Murphy flied out to the third baseman in foul territory his first time.
Still getting used to things up here. It's a little more superstitious in the dugout. You don't really say things
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that,
in the dugout, I would never do that. There's a ground ball foul on the curveball, 0-2 on Murphy. But, I mean, imagine somebody's throwing a no-hitter, and I don't tell the viewers and then they turn it off and find the next day that they were watching a no-hitter and they didn't know.
You're right. Good point.
I'd get fired. I mean, I guess I wouldn't get fired from this because I bought all the equipment and here I am. The pitch is a strike.
You would fire yourself.
That's strike 3. Yes. I mean, if
Yeah, especially with lack of some adequate scoreboards and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It is possible to not know. I've certainly been part of games where you didn't know until the 5th, 6th inning that guy was throwing a no-hitter.
I mean, was there a combined no-hitter, like the Dodgers or somebody last year threw a combined no-hitter, and like the relief pitcher who got the last out was like, why is everybody celebrating?
Yeah, didn't
like,
know.
He didn't even know. I mean, a combined no-hitter is really not
there's been
my
some
favorite
messy
thing.
ones too, with errors and walks and things like that.
Did you see that there was the pitch was a strike to Thorpe, by the way. There's one away. This is Will Thorpe who grounded out Nate Thomas to follow. Did you see there was a minor league game that finished yesterday? It was 7-0 final score, and the team that scored 7 runs had no hits.
Yeah. I think I saw a recap of it. A lot of walks in there, a couple drop ball in the outfield. Happens.
Yeah, I mean, I pitched a no-hitter in high school, and we lost 4-3.
Ooh.
That's the
Still
greatest
hurts.
and worst day of my life.
Still hurts till this day.
Yeah. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, 2-1. I think, and we were winning 3-0 till the last inning too. That was the real. Anyway, whatever. I did walk a whole bunch of people, so I'm not going to put all the blame on my teammates on that. So here's the pitch, curveball, and that's in there on the inside corner, 2-1. Thorpe, I think, was buckling just a tiny bit on that. That was a sharp breaking curveball.
Mortensen's always had that heavy 12-6 curveball ever since I played with him way back at Prairie Baseball Academy in Lethbridge, Alberta.
Way to drop that Canadian brotherhood there. Popped up, foul territory behind the plate. Will it stay in play? Plitz and Redle right up against the fence. Can't quite make the play. That was a bunch of things going on there. He had to navigate the fence, the ball tailing away from him, the incoming third baseman, Nate Sean Thomas in the on-deck circle. And it's just a foul ball, so the count remains 2-2. Schöne Grüße, Stefan Penke, watching from Rimini. I bet it's a little warmer there than it is here. Although, it's all right here. It's just a little cool in the shade. Beautiful day for baseball, as they say. And a good crowd here. A lot of people here. Check swing, I believe. Did he tip that? And it went off the glove? There was no signal from the umpire.
No signal, but
so is that a ball or a strike?
It looked like an excuse me.
And I also couldn't see I could not see the signal that he gave the pitcher. So it looked to me like a foul ball. So I'm going to go and say that it's 2-2. That ball lined to left field very hard, but it's going to stay up long enough for Hull to make the catch. That was whacked. And Thorpe with nothing to show for it, lines out to left field. So there are 2 away. That's the most solid contact the Disciples have made against Mortensen so far.
Yeah, fastball up in the zone, and he hit it on the screws, but right at the left fielder, unfortunately.
So 2 down, and now Nate Sean Thomas will step up to the plate. Thomas is switch hitter, batting from the left side. This is his power side. Well, actually, I only say that because I've seen him hit most of his home runs left-handed, but I think he has just as much power right-handed, probably.
He's a very good right-handed hitter. Every time I saw him hit right-handed, he was very good. He just doesn't get that many reps.
Yeah, there's
on
not
his
a lot of
right
lefties
hand.
in the league. Yeah. Fouled away the first pitch for a strike. And he hits that one off the fists up the middle, and it's off the diving second baseman, Simon Liedke, and Nate Sean Thomas has himself a base hit. Liedke is all over the place out there, very athletic, covers a lot of ground, and he hit that one off the heel of his glove, and it kicked into short center.
Very, very good defensive player. He's also
he's a good pitcher, too.
Good pitcher, too, yeah.
I mean, he's just a good all-around young player, Simon Liedke.
Yeah. Very good athlete.
And he made that one, he came close to getting that one. But Nate is on first base, and now with 2 down, you're going to look for him to go. Mortensen with a hold. Thomas not going. The pitch is in the dirt, and now Thomas can easily go to second base on the wild pitch. And now he's already in scoring position. With 2 down, is it worth sending him to third, do you think?
No. Nate can score anything outside of the infield. Nate's going to score. You don't really have to do a whole lot of coaching at third base when a ball gets through the infield with Nate Thomas at second base, especially with 2 outs. He's got that first step too. So Boomer Saunders will be waving him in if the ball gets past the infield. So
Simon Lechner with a 1-ball, no strike count. Lechner tried to bunt and was thrown out. by Redler, the catcher. And the fastball is in there on the inside corner, 1-1.
Lechner's been known to be a clutch hitter, so this could be a big boost. Get him on the board, score first, especially like we said, coming back from that defeat on Saturday. It'd be really good to get on the board first here.
It's a big hole up the middle. Liedke's pulled way around to right. There's a pop-up, foul territory off to the left, being chased by Plitz, and that's going to be out of play over near the burger stand. 1-2. Now, Simon seemingly always works a deep count. He's a guy who walks a lot, takes a lot of pitches. He's very selective, and he's got sneaky power. He can leave the building too.
Yeah. He's got a great approach, great two-strike approach also. Not going to chase a whole lot, knows the zone, not going to chase especially up too, which Morton's been throwing a lot of those high fastballs.
And this one in the dirt, good block by Janssen. And the count is 2-2 now. That's the first time a runner has been in scoring position for more than 2 seconds. Sean Larry was at second base, but was thrown out trying to stretch a double into triple. That's squirted to left field. That is a fair ball down the line. Thomas will come in to score, and it is 1-0 Disciples on the little bloop single off the bat of Simon Lechner. It landed, I think, 6 inches in fair territory.
It looked like it was on the line.
Maybe even closer, yeah.
Spinning left, but like we said, great approach with 2 strikes, laid off the breaking balls down. Got a fastball middle of the plate, just poked it over the third base side there.
And so the Disciples strike first blood. They lead 1-0. And it was a 2-out rally. The little infield single off the bat of Thomas. Then he reached second on a wild pitch. And a bloop single from Simon Lechner. Now Justin Olich. And he pops one up. Left side, a long run for Hull. And he will not get there. Strike one. Olich, the Croatian-Canadian.
Yep.
Burnaby. Are you familiar with Burnaby?
Not really, no. I'm an East Coaster, as you know, from Nova Scotia.
Right.
So haven't spent a ton of time in Vancouver.
Okay, I've been there once.
Yeah.
When I was, I don't know, 12. But looks like a nice place.
Yeah.
I hear nice things.
Mountains, beaches, can't go wrong.
So 1 strike the count to Olich. And that pitch is upstairs. 1-1. Simon Lechner on first base. His RBI single has given the Disciples a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. And the curve just missed the outside corner. 2-1.
Doesn't look like Mortenson's been paying a ton of attention over at first base here. Lechner, not a speed demon, but he's a good base runner.
Yeah, he could sneak one in on you.
Yeah, if he gets a good jump.
2 outs. That pitch tails away. Again, Patrick Meiser's standing right in your way, so you can't really see. Patrick, come on, man. There's only so many places I can put the center field camera, sadly. It's more complicated than it seems, folks. Anyway, 3-1. And Rick Royston is in the house. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul. Olich has been consistently late on the stuff of Mortensen.
Yeah, I mean, Mortensen throws hard. He's got a heavy fastball. Not going to speculate on the miles per hour, but he's above average for this league.
Yeah. We don't have StatCast in this ballpark. We have
No.
TimCast. Which is just, there's like slow, medium, and fast. Those are the
Never want to get into
measurement we have.
velocity guessing.
No. That ball hit on the ground, and it's snagged by Jermaine off the bag, and he will take it to the bag. Well, if that got past him, it might have snuck into the right field area, but Jermaine makes the play, and Olich grounds out 3 unassisted. However, the Disciples score a run. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, 1 left on base at the end of 4 complete. It's the Disciples 1, the Heideköpfe nothing. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by
Brauerei Wildbräu.
the Brauerei Wildbräu. Welcome back to the top of the 5th inning here in Haar. 1 hour and 10 minutes in. We are getting close to the halfway point. Steve Norrell going to deal with 5, 6, and 7. Sean Larry, Killian Redley, and Maurice Montgomery. Sean Larry hit a double to the gap in left center field and was thrown out trying to stretch it to a triple. And so the left-hander steps in for his second look at Norrell. The pitch is low for a ball, 1-0. The Disciples with a 2-out run. Nate Thomas with a single, reached second on a wild pitch. That pitch is high at 2-0, and then scored on the bloop single that landed just about on the left field line off the bat of Simon Lechner. And that's where we are. Fastball is in there. 2-1. Saw some folks in the chat mentioning that Sean Larry has the Bundesliga record for most home runs in a season, I think with 17. That seems about right.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I think he had 17 in the regular season and then like 15 more in the playoffs. It was something insane like that.
17 is going to be extremely tough to beat, especially in a 24-game season.
Less games this year.
That's a pretty good clip.
There were a few years, a couple years ago, was it 2017 when they had interleague play? There were 40-something games in the regular season.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the year that – I can't remember if that's the year Larry did it. I suppose I could look on Ty Erickson's stats archive.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was the year he had 17.
It might have been the year after,
2021, I believe, that he had a really big year. But it's a little hard for continuity purposes when the league format changes all the time to measure. But 17 home runs in 28 games speaks for itself.
He's got a full count here. And the breaking ball is inside, and Norrell wanted it. That's the first walk issued by the right-hander. And Sean Larry will take his base on first base. Let's take another look at that pitch. Looked to be inside from where we are, but good pitch nonetheless.
Yeah, they tend to expand more on the outside corner than on the inside in the Bundesliga, I find. And
especially to a lefty batter, I think.
Yeah. And he's been a little bit generous, I think, on the outside corner with some of those calls that he hit the spot on, especially with 2 strikes. So
this is one of the rare times that Norrell is going to work from the stretch, and his fastball is up and in to Killian Redley. Redley struck out his first time. And Norrell moving the dirt around a little bit on the mound. Larry, I do not think, is a threat to steal from first base. Swing and a miss on a good off speed.
I've rarely seen him as the lead runner because he's often
pushing everybody around.
Yeah, or either trotting around the bases when they play Haar, or there's a couple guys in front of him on the bases. So,
1-1. There's a swing and a line drive over the leaping shortstop Murphy into left center field. Base hit. Sean Larry will stop at second base. Got in on the hands of Redley, but he was able to fist it just out over the leaping Callum Murphy. And so the first 2 are on for the Heideköpfe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here to see if they put the bunt on, see if they're feeling the heat of being down first time this season. I think that they've been trailing. Obviously, a really strong offensive lineup. Don't want to give outs away, but if you're feeling you need some runs, could be the time to put a bunt on here.
Well, let's see. Michelli is playing at the cutout, and Montgomery shows bunt, and the pitch is low. Might also want to look for, very often, and I always have to remind myself of this, anytime you have a runner on second base and a bunting situation, and the ball is not bunted at, it's a good time for a back pick at second base.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For see it a lot.
Sure. Guy trying to take a couple extra steps, too.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball.
There,
1-1.
I don't think it's a huge double play threat. With the way the infield's playing today, I don't think you can hit a ball hard enough unless it's on a one hop or something to turn a double play. It's just dying in the grass.
Yeah.
Which could play a factor. Maybe they're going to swing away.
Well, he showed bunt on the first one, swung through the second one. The count is 1-1. Now he shows bunt again, and this one spiked in the dirt. Thorpe keeps it relatively close, but thinks better of making the throw to third base. So a wild pitch moves the runners up, and now do you do a safety or sacrifice or suicide or just swing away?
Heidenheim's pretty creative. Klaus Ekle is not afraid to put things on, and I've seen, every time we've played Heidenheim, I've seen suicide squeezes and double steals and bunts with guys in different positions. So nothing's off the table, I think, right now.
I think Thorpe was a little lucky. That ball bounced up and hit him in the mask. A little ground ball to short. Murphy fields. The run comes home. The thrower goes to first base to get the out. And like you said, the ball just started dying in the grass.
Yeah.
Didn't even get to Murphy fast enough to where he could have a chance to throw it home. So we are tied at 1 on the RBI ground out. Killian Redley moves to third as Larry scores. So give Montgomery a run batted in. And there's one away.
And Haar's going to play infield in here with 1 out.
Simon Liedke at the plate. 1 away, and Redley the runner at third, and Norell paints the outside corner with strike 1.
Which I think is the right call. I mean, Liedke is not known as a power hitter, and anything in the infield is gonna hang up there long enough that you can either look the guy back or get an out at the plate.
Liedke is a guy who's good at putting the ball in play, and he showed bunt. And Michelli, of course, was charging as well on the play, so he would have had to get back to the bag on that. But that was there was a moment of danger there for the runner third base, Killian Redley.
Yeah, no, it looked like safety squeeze there. I mean, what I always liked about playing Heidenheim was you're always on your toes.
And he lines it into right center field, and there's no question about that. That is a base hit as Liedke stops at first base with an RBI single driving home Killian Redley, and Heidenheim takes the lead 2-1. Well, whether the infield had been in or not, it wouldn't have mattered on that. That was just a good, clean single into right center field.
No, but putting the thought of the squeeze in the minds of the Haar battery there could have played a part. Got him a better pitch to hit, and he made the most of it. That's just good hitting.
Yeah, it looked like a fastball tailing in on him, and he inside outed it. That's something that Liedke is very good at. Seen him do it many times. Now Ryan Bollinger, pitching coach for the Disciples, out to have a chat with the big right-hander Steve Norell, who, by the way, didn't mention, he's from Keller, Texas, went to school in Kansas, Ottawa University, but not Ottawa, Canada, Ottawa, Kansas.
Correct.
And so this is his first time in the Bundesliga, 25 years old, showing good stuff.
It's his first time in Germany, too.
Yeah. Well, we welcome him to Germany. Herzlich willkommen. I'm sure you took him to the Hofbräuhaus already.
Not me personally.
Not you,
no,
but somebody has for sure.
Yeah.
Timo Plitz, and he shoots one down the line. That's foul. Very late on the swing. Plitz singled his first time. He's the number 9 hitter in the order. This is, Heidenheim, known for their depth of offense. Also, Liedke on first base with a pretty short lead, but you never know. He might take off. And a check on him. He dives back. Norell thinking, just along with us.
Yeah, I mean, the times that Heidenheim's been championship caliber, it's their ability to turn over the lineup. When those 7, 8, 9 guys are getting on base, getting hits, getting walks, it's tough.
This one in the dirt, and Thorpe has to get away, and taking second base is Liedke. Another wild pitch. So in this inning, Norell has been much more wild than he was prior. He was very efficient in the first 4, and a couple of wild pitches in this inning, including also the leadoff walk to Sean Larry. Remember, that was a close 3-2 breaking ball. He just missed maybe by a couple inches inside.
Yeah, when that sinker is taken off down in the zone, it's real hard when it's coming mid-upper 80s to block it, no matter what catcher you are.
And a ground ball snagged at first by Wallace, and he looks the runner back. Good play. And that's the second out. And now the top of the order, Hull will step up to the plate.
Yeah, really important out here. You want to keep these guys off base for the middle of the lineup coming up. Jansen's, Owens, Jermaine, and Larry. That's really when Heidenheim's able to expand their lead, is when you can get those guys up with guys on base. It's when 2-run games become 10-run games.
Well, that's often a theme in the Bundesliga. The pitch is down and away for a ball. Konstantin Hull has struck out twice, once looking, once swinging.
And not to take anything away from Hole, who's always a tough out. Good eye at the plate, a lot of speed.
Good block by Thorpe there, and the count 2-0. And Norell still digging at that landing spot in front of the mound. Norell works from the first base side of the rubber. And I don't really remember where Mortensen has been working from. Usually that's a bigger problem when you have lefty against a righty and they have completely different landing spots on the mound. But he's behind 3-0 now. And that time he sort of fell off to the first base side, it looked like.
Sometimes better, if you're close enough that the landing spots interfere, it's bad. If you're far enough away that they're totally independent of each other, it's fine.
And the 3-0 is in there. Norell looked like he's trying to work very quickly. He's on the mound, gets the sign, comes to the stretch. Hole is also not really stepping out very much. 3-1. Off the fists, that's going to be into center field. A base hit. Liedtke around third. He's coming up. And the throw is not in time. It's an RBI single for Konstantin Hole. And Heidenheim now has a 3-1 lead as Simon Liedtke scoring from second base. Again, the wild pitch having something to do with that as he was put into scoring position after that.
This is really where you need to minimize if you're Norell. Obviously, every out's important, but getting Jansen here, against whom he's had success, would be a big out. Get the boys back in the dugout with just a 3.
And now this is obviously, for Hole, that was his third look at Norell, and so third time through the lineup. Obviously, there's going to be some adjustments on both sides, and there's a swing and a ground ball. That's foul. Good dance move by Klaus Ekle to get out of the way.
It's going to be interesting to see. Boomer Saunders got to save some pitchers. Some of his main reliever, I guess, closer, Lucas Steinlein on Saturday wasn't no real need to use him. So see how quick he is with the hook here if things continue in this direction. But see if Norell can get out of it here.
Jensen 1 for 2, by the way. He singled, was picked off, and then he struck out in his next at-bat, and now he taps that one foul for strike 2. Trying to fish that outside corner pitch and yank it. That looked like a breaking ball down and away.
Yeah. Not hoping for anybody, just to get that out there clear.
It's okay.
Tough transition to the booth here. As his coach
I think I'm the only one in the Bundesliga who tries to be neutral, so you can go ahead and say what you
be a homer.
You can be a homer. Pitches upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Hole take off here. Very good base runner, very quick. Good base stealer as well.
And he's going. The pitch is outside. Throw to second base. Goes into center field. Hole gets up. He's going to move to third. And he's in there with a slide. And he even thinks about coming home. The Disciples running the risk of throwing the ball around a little bit there.
And Ekle was waving him home. He was just mid-slide and then reconsidered after he had slid into third there.
So that's a stolen base and then an E2. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jensen. As the throw into center field almost got past Rosenthal. He juggled it momentarily. He was trying to, sometimes that's the thing that happens when you get off to a bad start and then you start to rush the little things. The ball comes to you and you try to rush the throw and then you fumble it further. And that's where the mental aspect of playing baseball becomes so difficult.
And Heidenheim's great at taking advantage of that, especially guys who are quick on the bases. They're not afraid to take risks and take extra bases.
Curveball down and away, and Drew Jensen, a good job to not chase that. You could see he started and then was able to recognize it, and it spun down and away. So now a full count. So much more of a challenge this inning. There are 2 down. Ground ball slowly hit. Charging on it is the third baseman. Michelli to throw to first, not in time. A base hit and an RBI as Hole comes in to score. And it is 4-1.
Huge difference there by Hole. I got to give credit to him. Got all the way around third. He doesn't score if he's on second there. He doesn't score if he's on first there.
Yeah.
Manufactured a run by Hustlin. Got a good jump. With 2 strike count, took advantage of it.
So now that run is going to be unearned however, I think,
Yeah.
because. So Gary Owens now steps up, and now the real challenge begins. All the little guys got on, and now the big guy's coming up, and a big swing, and a big strike. Owens, you can see he's sort of like, he's seen what's transpired prior to this, and now he's looking for that big blast.
I think there's some action down in the Haar bullpen.
Fastball is high.
As Norrell's pitch count has to be getting up there in this inning alone.
Now let's take a look here. A 61, if this is up to date. I think it is, or maybe it's not. There's a check on the runner at first base. He's back. .91 pitches now.
Okay. Like I said, I think he's thrown quite a few in this inning, and with the middle of the lineup coming up,
2-1.
An exhausted pitcher is not who you want to throw out there to the.
Well, you also mentioned,
lineup.
you know, you mentioned that he had a foot issue. There's another check on the runner. He had a foot issue in the past, and then earlier in this game he sort of stumbled off the mound. And you wonder if his foot is hurting a little bit, but that's pure speculation. I'm just watching his follow-through, trying to see if there's anything that I can see. But
yeah, it's hard to tell. I haven't seen him that many times to know when he's thrown off by something like that. But yeah, he's had some lower body issues, and the field's a little wet. The mound looks a little chunky, a little soft. Sorry, not wet, but soft.
2-2 on Gary Owens, who had a big swing and fouled that last one off. The pitch. Line drive, center field. Rosenthal backing up, and it's over his head, and it's going to roll for a while. Coming around third, Drew Jensen, he's going to score. Owens is rounding third. He's being waved, and the throw to the plate is fielded on a bounce. Thorpe picks it up and tags out Gary Owens. A triple, an RBI, and thrown out at the plate, going for the inside the Parker.
Yeah.
And a good recovery by Thorpe, who blocked a low throw with his chest, picked it up with his glove, and then had to reach behind him to make a sprawling tag and get Gary Owens. The throw was in plenty of time, but, you know, because it didn't come in cleanly, a very tough play. Let's watch this on the replay. So it's 5-1 Heidenheim. As you watch Thorpe going up the line to receive the throw, it bounced off his chest. He had to pick it up off the ground, and he still had time to tag out Owens on the way by.
Who hesitated
a little bit, yeah.
There, yeah.
So, a lot happened in that half inning. We will go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is 5-1 Heidenheim. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. The score bug is going to take a minute to update, I can tell you that, because there was some complicated scoring to take place in the last half inning, but it is 5-1 Heidenheim. So just give that a moment, if you can. And Jared Mortensen now with a 4-run lead. First pitch is a curveball over the head of Nick Michelli. 7-8-9, Michelli, Wallace, and Schmitz. for the Disciples here in the bottom of the fifth, and I am joined once again by my good buddy Rick Royston. And there's one question, Rick, that you don't know about that I have to ask you from somebody in the chat, and that is, how is your groin?
Somebody knows me. Yeah, my groin is recovered apparently.
Okay, good. That's all you have to say. You don't have to ask anymore. It's that guy sitting right over there who asked the question. I know that anyway. Swing and a miss. But yeah. Anyway, Rick Royston, welcome back to the booth. We're happy to have you. We've
Happy to
had
be
sort
here.
of a
Happy to be
rotating.
Announcers, color
Yeah,
commentary.
I was looking for the rotating straight man.
Yeah.
Like the what's the the comedy duo.
I think you're the straight man.
All right. Oh, I am. Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Yeah, the color guys provide the added humor to
Okay.
your broadcast.
Well, it was a humorless top of the fifth inning for the Disciples.
It was definitely no fun for them.
There's a curveball. That's hit hard in the air to left field. Hole backing up, reaches up, makes the catch. Murphy
Well read.
hit the ball. Michelli hit the ball hard. And nothing to show for it. Flies out to left field. Nice play by Constantine Hull in left field for the first out.
Yeah, he really drew a beat on that one. Got a good jump and hauled it in.
The wind is blowing from left to right today. But I don't think it had much of an effect on that. That was more of a line drive off the bat of Michelli. So now David Wallace, who flied out his first time. Well, it was a good, clean first 3 innings. Then the Disciples scored a 2-out run in the fourth. And now time is called. Mortensen just stands on the mound in the set position. I think Wallace is trying to avoid a quick pitch, but Mortensen is not flinching. He is ready.
He is ready to go.
And the next pitch, right at him.
Of course, no
Inside.
no pitch clock in the Bundesliga.
Haven't needed it today, though. We're cruising right along. And now Wallace is going to take his time after that pitch up and in.
Yeah, both pitchers are working quickly.
Interesting. And the next one, fouled away.
A good swing on that, just a little bit late.
Wallace hit a fly ball his first time. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Mortensen thus far only allowed a couple of hits. Breaking ball, that's outside. 2-1. He has, let's see, 1, 2, 3 strikeouts he has allowed. Only 3 hits. The 2 little singles with 2 outs in the fourth are what led to the Disciples' run. They led for a few minutes as the pitch fouled out of play. And the count.
Yeah, Haar's going to really have to work, go station to station. They're not getting hard contact at all.
2 balls and 2 strikes. After Wallace, Nils Schmidt steps up to the plate. And this ball hits slowly on the ground to the left side. Fielded by Plitz, and he throws across the diamond in time. 2 down. But Timo Plitz has looked good in third base. Made a couple of nice plays today. And Nils Schmidt, who struck out his first time, will step up to the plate for the Disciples.
Yeah, the infield grass looks to be very slow.
Yeah, we were commenting on that in the last half inning with Alex Tufts. All the ground balls are just dying. So Nils Schmidt, and he shows bunt. I guess bunting for a hit because the third baseman Plitz is back. Otherwise, there's no reason. The pitch was a ball.
Maybe
Or was it a strike?
Take advantage of that slow grass.
It's outside. Count is now 2-0, I believe. Inside, ball 3.
He's really working quickly.
Yeah, Norell also for the Disciples pitching very quickly. That's ball 4. And so, a 2-out base runner for the Disciples. Joe Rosenthal will step up to the plate as Neil Schmidt takes first base. Rosenthal has grounded to the pitcher and struck out.
So you could say he's due.
Yes. He's a guy who's got good opposite field power. And the Disciples trying to get their offense going. They've had a rough go of it so far in the early going in this season, but you look at their lineup and you see guys that definitely can do some damage. And so the Disciples hoping that Rosenthal can get in on that. The pitch just missing low and outside, and the count 1-0. Rosenthal checks Ryan Saunders. Head coach Boomer Saunders took over. You know, I failed to mention Alex Tufts obviously was in the booth. He was head coach for the Disciples the last couple of years. But proud father, or expectant father, I think, actually.
Well, congratulations, Alex.
Had to step down from the coaching duties. There's a pop-up on the infield called by the shortstop, Drew Jansen, who makes the catch easily behind second base, and that is that. So, a two-out base runner leads to nothing. No runs, no hits, no errors. One left on base. We go to the 6th inning here in Haar. It is Heidenheim 5, Haar 1. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Chris, you want to say Brauerei Wildbräu?
Brauerei Wildbräu.
Brauerei Wildbräu. Brauerei Wildbräu. Moving to the top of the 6th inning, it's Heidenheim 5, Haar 1. And I would like to give a shout out also to Mark Davis. Mark, I know you're watching. I saw that you actually had answered the previous question about Rick's groin, but I went out of my way to say it on the broadcast. Mark, glad to have you here in Munich, as long as you are still here. I know you're leaving soon. But I'll see you. We're going to go bowling. Yeah, we're going bowling. Anyway,
that's right. For those
fans,
who don't know,
for those at home, now you know.
That's Boomer's roommate, who's now taking over the apartment. So Boomer's a happy man.
Yes. So Steve Norell back on the mound, and he's going to go to work against 4, 5, and 6. First pitch to Will Germain is a strike. Germain has struck out and grounded out. And the 1-strike pitch, swing and a miss. Good breaking ball, 0-2. Now, Norell was dominant for the first 4 innings and then looked like a different pitcher last half inning, threw a couple of wild pitches. This pitch pop foul out of play. But he's going to try to right the ship. He's still working quickly.
They just seemed to have some control problems the last inning, which Heidenheim took advantage of, obviously.
Yeah, Heidenheim, that's kind of what they do. That's why they're so good. They take advantage of the little things. As a ground ball pulled foul. Germain way out in front. Germain, one of those guys, he's got that hulking stance. He holds the bat almost upright and waves it around home plate. No batting gloves, and then as the pitch comes in, he cocks it back and uncoils. Very similar to Gary Owens, actually. And the pitch is high, 1-2, but he still gets the bat around. If you look at his stats going back the past few years in the Bundesliga, he is a force to be. Now we're good. All right, folks, we had a little technical difficulty, but we should be back. My apologies. Pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3, so Killian Redless strikes out. And Norell recovers to have a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. My apologies for the cut in internet service. That was my fault. I tried to get through this one on the cheap, and that's no longer the case. So let me reload. But we are back live as far as I know. And you didn't miss anything. A couple of ground balls to the pitcher and then a strikeout of Killian Redleb. And we are back. So we will go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 5-1 Heidenheim. And this is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brouwerij Wildbroy. That's what we are. And that's who we're brought to you by, Brouwerij Wildbroy. Welcome back to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 5-1 Heidenheim. The internet is working again. My name's Tim Collins, and I'm joined again by Alex Tufts back in the booth. We've had a rotating cast of comedy partners. That's what I'll put. I'll describe it that way. But we're going to look at Mike Bolsenbrook taking over. And Konstantin Schiele is in right field. He took over for Sean Larry. Mark Major is in the house taking our photo right at this very moment. And Alex, what have you seen from this game so far?
Looks like Heidenheim's coaching and playing with a lot of confidence. Going to the bullpen this early. Mortensen out after only 72 pitches, but like you said, full bullpen. Bolsenbrook, possibly Jansen, possibly others behind him. They feel like they can get the job done with a 4-run lead from here.
Well, Bolsenbrook came on and promptly threw 2 consecutive strikes. What else is new? And the pitch is outside, 1-2. Bolsenbrook, by the way, I was, thumbing my way through the stats, which can be searched pretty easily on Ty Erickson's website, which there is a link on the Baseball Bundesliga website. If you go under stats and then the drop-down menu, it just says Ty Erickson's stats, which is kind of hilarious. Pitch is outside, 2-2, but really it's an incredible archive that he's put together.
Yeah,
and you can search and you can categorize and you can set minimums. It's like Baseball Reference. It's a swing and a miss. Murphy strikes out.
You could spend hours on there.
Yeah. So I did not spend hours, but I spent enough time to figure out that Mike Bolsenbrook is one of only 8 pitchers to pitch over 1,000 innings in the Bundesliga.
Wow.
And he's at 1,046. Well, now he's at 1,047. Also, actually, this is coming into this season, so the stats that are up there do not include 2023 stats. So Bolsenbrook is over 1,150 innings. I think he threw 3 innings last weekend. And in that time, his record is 118-21. ERA of 2.19. That's the best of anybody with over 1,000 innings.
Yeah.
And this is his 15th season in the Bundesliga. So he pretty much is basically the greatest pitcher in the history of the Bundesliga.
Oh, yeah. I think it's safe to say. And relevant to this game also, speaking of a guy who can expand the outside corner, is Mike Bolsenbrook.
Yeah.
Who can flirt with that outside, expand it, know when to come out, know when it's too much. Tremendous control, and yeah, shows with the stats he's put up in the last 15 years.
Pitch is low to Thorpe. 2 balls and a strike. Thorpe is 0-2. He's grounded out and flied out. Murphy had been 0-2 with a fly out and a strikeout. After Thorpe, Nate Sean Thomas steps up. So 2 balls and a strike. The right-hander Bolsenbrook deals. Hit on the ground is short. Couple of hops to Jansen. Fields it from deep short, and he airmails the throw into the dugout. And Thorpe will take second base. So that is an E6. And the Disciples get a base runner here with 1 out in the 6th inning.
Could be the break they need to try to get back in this game. Still time. Bottom 6, but yeah, to chip away here, get a couple would be really nice.
So Nate Sean Thomas steps up to the plate. And he takes a pitch low for a ball. I see somebody in the chat saying that the sound is not working correctly, so as far as I know, it is. So if somebody else is having problems, please let me know. There's a pitch strike called.
It's not the worst thing in the world if you can't hear me. If you can't hear you, it's a little different. But
also not the worst thing in the world.
If you can only hear me and not Tim, that's bad.
Well, I'm going to turn your mic up now. 1-1 on Nate Thomas. 1 down, runner on second base. That's Will Thorpe, reached on the error. And the pitch is low. Nate has singled and scored. He legged out, well, he hit a little seeing eye ground ball that kicked off the diving second baseman Simon Liedtke, and then scored after a wild pitch and a single. And that one is at the knees on the outside corner, 2-2 from Bolsenbrook. But it's really fun to, as we were talking about, you know, that stats archive that Ty Erickson put together. It's fun to go through there. There are errors in it that are not his fault. It's more of the source data. There's a ground ball to the left side, kicks off Jensen and into the outfield. Thorpe is going to take off for third, and now the ball gets past Hull in left field, and Thorpe will score. So that's probably going to be a base hit, and then I think an error on the left fielder.
Hull, yeah.
Because I don't think Jensen had a chance to throw out Nate Sean Thomas at all on that ground ball. No. And then when the ball got past the left fielder, that's when Thorpe was waved around. So I'm going to say single and error.
Yeah.
And Thomas also ended up at second base. So no RBI for Nate Thomas, but the run does score.
It's exactly what the Disciples need to get back in this game. A couple breaks. Bolsenbrook's not going to give you a ton. He's not going to give you walks or wild pitches and stuff like that. You got to earn it. You got to hit balls hard to get back in this.
Simon Lechner takes a pitch down and in for a ball. So that's going to be E7, I would say. And the next one, that's in there for a strike, 1-1. Inning began with Murphy striking out, then Thorpe reached on an E6, Thomas with a single, and then the E7. So 2 errors in the inning for the Heideköpfe. Obviously, that the first run is unearned because Thorpe would not have been on base to begin with. The pitch is low, 2-1. And it remains to be seen how this inning plays out. If Thomas were to score, whether that run also would be earned or not. Gotta wait and see. Ground ball pulled foul, and the count 2-2 now to Simon Lechner. Lechner 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Little blooper over the third baseman, Timo Plitz.
Yeah, see if he changes his approach here. Bolsenbrook loves to come into lefties. Lechner's great with that left side approach, pushing the ball over short, but if Bolsenbrook's busting them in, he's got to adjust too.
And he hits a line drive, shallow right center field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Thomas had to wait to make sure it would fall in, so he makes it to third and no further. So Lechner with his second hit. Thomas moves to third base. And it's first and third.
Leute, wir haben Run auf der first, Run auf der third base. Und wir haben jetzt am Schlag unsere Nummer 14, der Justin Olic. Auf geht's die Disciples. Da geht was.
So Justin Olic will step up to the plate. Olic has flied out and grounded out. He's up with a couple of runners aboard, and Lechner at first base. Thomas at third. The pitch slapped fouled on the third base line. Olic has been consistently late on the fastballs, but Still getting some barrel to it. I'm kind of surprised that they're playing him straight away in the outfield.
Yeah.
He's got that big leg kick. Starts with the open stance.
Yeah, first year in the Bundesliga South. I think they're just trying to feel him out, but he's been tardy.
And the count 0-2.
But he's a guy with a tremendous amount of power, very flat swing, and can put a charge into one. But he's been, timing looks a little bit off.
Well, he takes a deep breath and steps in. He's behind 0-2. There's one out in the inning. And a foul. Had a pretty good hack at that one, just a bit late. And Bolsenbrook, to his credit, I mean, he's not going to change speeds at all. He's going to probably stick with the hard stuff, I would presume, until Olich proves that he can get around on it.
Yeah, I imagine he's gonna probably try to bust him in with a fastball or come way outside of the zone. If he does throw off speed, it's going to be in the dirt or far off the plate.
The 0-2. And a tapper back to Bolsenbrook. He looks the runner back, throw to second for one, on to first.
Safe.
Not in time, and the run scores. Good base running by Nate Thomas as he waited, and then when he saw they were going for the double play, he came home, and Olich beat it out, so it's a fielder's choice, and the score is now 5-3. And again, we're going to have to wait and see whether that's an earned run, because on that play, if Thomas had not made it to second on the previous error, he'd probably only be standing at third. But it doesn't really matter. So Lechner is cut down. That's the second out. Play goes 1-4. I believe that was Liedke who made the play at second base. So Olich reaches on the fielder's choice. The pitch is a ball. And give Olich an RBI as well to Michelli. Michelli is the hitter. Michelli singled and then hit the ball on the screws but flied out. Fastball high, back pick attempt. Nice scoop at first by Germain as Olich dives back, and Redle firing that ball into the dirt. Germain just covering the throw.
Yeah, see if Olich picks a pitch to take off here. Bolsenbrook's very quick to the plate, very good at holding runners, but could get you in scoring position with a singles hitter like Michelli at the plate.
Swing and a miss on an off speed from Bolsenbrook. And again, Patrick Meister right in your face. 1-1 on Michelli. Olich at first base, not much of a lead. The pitch is outside, breaking ball. Michelli has faced Bolsenbrook in the past, usually in the playoffs when he was playing with Bonn. I think when they played against either Heidenheim or Regensburg. Can't remember exactly which year that would have been. There's a swing and a foul. Michelli's first year in Bonn was, I believe, 2019. So, yeah, it would have been if they played against Heidenheim in the playoffs.
Last year, they faced Heidenheim in the playoffs.
Did they also?
Yeah.
See, my recollection of recent history is just like, pandemic did a real number on my noodle, I can tell you that. 2-2. And that ball hit in the air to right field, and it's Schiele out there, and he makes a nice running catch in fair territory. Remember, Schiele came into the game for Sean Larry, and that's the first time he's had a ball hit to him, and he ran that down pretty easily. So the third out of the inning. However, the Disciples get a couple of runs. I believe both of them are unearned. And at the end of 6, it's a 5-3 ball game. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by
Brauerei Wildbräu.
Exactly. We are moving to the top of the 7th inning, and Steve Norell's day is over. He threw 113 pitches, 66 were strikes, so about half, a little more than half. It was really just the one bad inning, and otherwise he was dominant. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks. But really, all the damage in the 1 inning. Outside of that, he was faced the minimum, actually.
Yeah, one of those wild pitches. One of those wild pitches stung, but end of the day, he gave the team a chance to win today, which is what you needed, which is what you need from your import pitcher, especially the Hard Disciples right now. 0-3, coming off a tough loss, 15-0 on Saturday. They really needed a strong start from their import pitcher, Steve Norrell, and they got it so far.
Yeah. And so Sean Cowan, the little lefty, is going to take over. Cowan, also a former Paderborn, untouchable Paderborn, as I've been told.
Yeah. It's
untouchable Paderborn, not Paderborn untouchable. Anyway, we're not in Paderborn, so those of you who know, you know. Anyway, Sean Cowan's going to face 7-8-9, Maurice Montgomery, Simon Liedke, and Timo Plitz. And the left-hander's first pitch missed.
Cowan's thrown well this year. Outing in Hunstetten, he threw well. He's looked pretty good so far. They're looking to bridge it to Steinlein, I'm guessing.
Pitches inside. 2-0. Yeah, Sean always had a good arm, got a good breaking ball. It's a contrast when you had Norell, who's 6'4", 240 for the first 6 innings, and now Sean, who I'm not going to speculate on his size, but it's not 6'4", 240, that's for sure. The pitch was a strike, 2-1.
No, and you can usually tell. I always noticed when Sean's thrown well, when he's able to locate his breaking ball.
2-2.
It's usually a good sign that he's going to have a good day, because he can be. He's been more consistent recently, like in the past year, I would say. But sometimes he misses. He's going to miss to the arm side. It's not good. But if he's able to command that curveball, like he was there, it's usually a good sign for the day.
That one missed inside, but it had a nice 12-6 break on it. He's got some. The Disciples have some guys that can spin the ball with Cowan and Endriat also.
Yeah. It's not a power pitching staff.
Strike 3 got him on the inside corner. Came inside with that fastball, and Montgomery is called out. Nice pitch, a nice beginning for Sean Cowan.
It's not a power pitching staff, like I was saying, but in this ballpark you can get away with it. There's a lot of balls that go into the gaps that would be home runs, and in a lot of other parks, home runs in center field that are taken away. So if you can pitch the contact in this park, get weak contact, you get a chance to be all right.
Simon Liedke looks at a backdoor curveball that is in there. Cowan ahead, 0-1. Sean also trying to work very quickly. And that one missed. And, you know, the thing that always strikes me when I see Sean throwing well, it's the ball does jump out of his hand. You know, he's a little guy on the mound, but he's got some velocity that you don't expect when you see him out there. He's sneaky fast, 2-1.
Sneaky fast because he is a small guy. He's quite thin, but he's wiry. And he can, spin the ball like you said, and run it into righties too.
And a late swing results in a pop-up in foul ground for David Wallace. He's under it, and he's got it for out number 2. So Liedke flies out.
Exactly what you want from your pitcher here after coming off an inning where you're trying to get back into it. You've clawed back to get 2 hard-earned runs there to make it 5-3. Really need your pitcher reliever to come in and have a shutdown one. Don't want to jinx it, but Cowan's going in the right direction.
Well, we already mentioned that jinxing is not a possibility. Okay. Pitches, although then the inning fell apart for Norell after that. So maybe it totally is. Who knows? The pitch to Plitz was inside for a ball. And he smokes that one deep to right center field. Long, long run for Olich, and the center fielder Rosenthal runs it down. Well, he ran a country mile to get to that one.
Yeah. Like I said, this ballpark will take some. It's a graveyard out there. It'll take some hits away.
Woo! That was a long distance traveled by the center fielder into straight away right center field, I would say. And Rosenthal runs it down for the 3rd out of the inning. Nice play by Joe, and we will go to the 8th. No, bottom of the 7th. Right. I'm still getting, I'm still getting my.
It's opening day.
It's opening day for me too as well. I haven't counted since last baseball season. So bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Hey, it's time to stretch. Are they going to play the song? Sounds like a no. Anyway, Brouwer Eifield. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if they ever get back on this root. Root for the disciples. If they don't win, you're on camera. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes are out at the old ball game. All right, so that was a wonderful rendition of Take Me Out the Ballgame. First pitch from Bolsenbrook to David Wallace is a strike. And it's, yeah, that was your debut singing career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out where we are in the lineup and
Wallace and Schmidt.
How to manufacture a couple runs here, and I'm being forced to sing.
I know. This is what it's like in the booth, man.
Okay,
you got to be able to juggle things. 0-2.
Hit the ground running out here.
You think you had it hard in the dugout, man. You didn't have to sing. You don't have to worry about live viewers in the chat getting spammed by spam bots. All this, Actually, we have not had any of that today, so fingers crossed. Maybe I just jinxed that too. Who knows? 0-2 outside. Wallace is 0-4-2. The Disciples have a grand total of 5 hits in the game. Both teams with 2 errors. 5-7-2 for Heidenheim, 3-5-2 for Haar. That one is fouled away. The game was started by Jared Mortensen. He went 5 innings. Bolsenbrook gave up a couple of unearned runs last inning. This is his 2nd inning of work.
It's been a different Disciples team, I think, than certainly than the one that showed up on Saturday.
As Wallace swings through a fastball, and he is out number 1. Yeah, I mean, we have a good close ball game. Really, that's all you want. And I mean, this is a nice crowd. The crowds, last year the crowds were larger than they had been. Obviously, there was no crowd in 20 and 21, but last year every game was like this. I'd say there's probably 200 people here.
Everyone and the mayor out here in Haar.
Ah, right. I should have known that. They didn't tell me. The pitch is a ball to Niels Schmidt. But, of course, the Heidenheim, they always bring a huge amount of people with all their noisemakers. And gute Laune, Niels Schmidt with a high pop-up on the right side of the infield. Liedtke is calling off Germain, and he makes the catch for out number 2. There are so many people here that even former umpires are here. Even New Jerseyites who speak Bavarian are here. Yeah. Do you speak Bavarian with a Jersey accent? Of course, I'm speaking of Mark Major, those of you who are watching who have no idea what I'm talking about. So the top of the order, and Joe Rosenthal, who made that really nice catch to end the last half inning, takes a breaking ball in the first pitch for a strike. 0-for-3 is Joe.
Right guy up if you want to make something happen with 2 outs here, though. A lot of speed.
And he slices that one foul. That's going to get into the side field. Strike 2. A couple of breaking balls from Bolsenbrook. Bolsenbrook from Elpendoorn in the Netherlands. I believe he was in the Phillies farm system back in 2008 or 2009. He and Ryan Bollinger actually, I think, crossed paths back in those days. And Bollinger, of course, was a first baseman. He was drafted as a first baseman
Didn't spend too much time in the Philly system, I think, but
No.
it was a late round pick, a 47th round pick.
There's not even that many rounds anymore. Check swing, and that's a ball, 2-2. And that's sort of one of the side effects of like MLB, just deciding, we don't need so many minor leagues, which I'm not a fan of that. I think that more baseball is better. There's a swing and a foul out of play, but then that also means less guys, get drafted and get some. You get less. Mike Piazza, what was he like? 190? Yeah, like
62nd round.
He would never have been in the major leagues. Like Mike Piazza now is not going to be in the major leagues.
I don't know
and I
about
find
that.
that sad.
I think it's easier to scout players. I mean, this
this
was set up before there were everyone had a TV camera walking around with them, and
That's true. Yeah.
I think it's a little easier to get signed nowadays. If you're throwing 95 in a park, you can put it on YouTube and sign a contract.
Well, check out this pitch from Bolsenbrook. Paint at the knees in the outside corner, and Rosenthal knew it. So did everybody else in the ballpark. A perfect 7th inning for Mike Bolsenbrook is in the books. And we now go to the 8th inning in Haar. It is 5-3 Heidenheim here in the home opener. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Have yourself a nice Wildbräu from the Brauerei, because they brow Wildbräu. It's a highbrow Brauerei Wildbräu. Here we go. It's Ron Cowan. Pitched an effective 7th inning, and he's going to deal with the top of the order here in the 8th. 5-3 Heidenheim. Konstantin Hull, Drew Janssen, and Gary Owens against the little lefty. So let's see what happens this time around. Steven Norell went 6 innings. Cowan deals fastball high to Hull. It was Hull who got things really started. No, he drove in another one of the runs in the 5th inning. He didn't get things started, but he was part of that 5-run rally. And he looks at a strike, 1-1.
Really need another clean one here from Cowan. Easier said than done, but would be a big boost to get the guys in on offense again. Try to scrape together more runs.
And he touches the top of the zone with his strike there with his curveball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one slipped out of the hand a bit. 2-2 now. Well, I mean, there has not been a cloud in the sky all day today. It's windy, but other than that, the weather is absolutely perfect. Cool. There's a ground ball on 1 hop. It's a fair ball, juggled by Wallace, and Cowan
Safe.
late to the bag covering, and he's safe.
I thought Wallace maybe could have gotten there himself, but he kind of looked up and saw Konstantin Hull, who's very quick and who was hustling out of the box. Sort of hesitated and then elected to flip it to Cohen, but he maybe could have gotten there on his own, but pulls on first, regardless.
And we'll see if that's going to be an error. It was also juggled by Wallace at first, and that was sort of what extended the play. And we'll see if that's been given a hit or an error. I'll update you on that. But either way, Hull is at first, and now Drew Janssen. So the work begins, and Janssen shows bunt.
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see something on here from Heidenheim. Another run would give him a 3-run cushion here. some speed on the bases and at the plate with Janssens.
And they've given a base hit to that, so that's a single for Hull. And Jensen shows bunt, and he lays it down. Back to Cowan, who juggles, throws, and gets the out at first base. It was actually not a great bunt. Usually the one place you don't want to get it is right back to the pitcher. But Cowan juggled it anyway, and that's when he lost the play at second base.
Yeah, Hull, having speed on the bases makes an impact there. Hull, I think he's definitely safe if they go to second.
Yeah,
there.
you're probably right about that too.
Although, yeah, it was a perfect bunt to turn a double play on, but yeah, the speed of Hull just took that away.
And now Ryan Bollinger's going to go out, lefty to lefty, have a little conversation, give a pep talk to his youngster Sean Cowan. Cowan was with the Untouchables Paderborn when Bollinger was on the Disciples in 2017.
Yeah, and I think they're just going over what they want to do here with the next couple hitters. They got a base open. I mean, obviously you don't really want to put more runners on base, but Jermaine's looked, he's had a tough day at the plate so far. Owens had that triple that he tried to stretch into a home run. So yeah, let's see how they go at the middle of the lineup here.
I don't know that I would feel any better about Jermaine versus Owens.
No,
especially against
certainly.
lefty.
Certainly.
But we will see what they do. You are correct. Base is open. There's one out. I mean, if you're going to bunt the runner over, then I guess playing by the book, you're just sort of daring them to put Gary Owens on base. But it looks like they're going to pitch to him. They don't do the, a few years ago when MLB initiated the non-pitching intentional walk, we've got it here in the Bundesliga as well, but this very well might be an unintentional intentional walk as the first pitch was upstairs. Like, you're going to definitely stay away from the middle of the plate. That one caught the inside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, Thorpe was set up way off the outside corner there and kind of missed back over the plate, but good to keep him honest.
Murphy, the shortstop, had been shaded up the middle, big hole on the left side. Now he's a little bit back towards normal positioning, and that curve is high. 2-1.
I mean, the times that Haar has had success against Heidenheim, a big factor has been the strategic pitching around of power hitters, I can tell you that.
Well, there's a long drive to deep left center field, and Rosenthal racing back to the wall, makes the catch. The runner tags. Both runners, the runner moves to third. Owens flied out. That ball's gone in Heidenheim, but here it's a fly out at the warning track. And so Cowan is able to get through Gary Owens from the skin of his teeth.
And they're going to appeal. Looks like they're going to appeal the second, but he did not leave early. There's no chance
it didn't look like it.
Not a chance he calls him out.
Yeah. But it's worth a try.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think it makes you look desperate sometimes. I think you got two outs here. Either go at Bill Jermaine or they're going to put him on. They're going to put him on.
They're going to put him on because Sheila is in the on-deck circle and not Sean Larry.
Yeah. The pinch hitter in the lineup there makes a big difference. You can make a move like that and not have to face a power hitter like Sean Larry. And they're going to go to Steinlein here.
Second trip to the mound.
Yep.
So that's Boomer Saunders, the head coach. And Sean Cowan, all in all, pretty good job. He pitched a scoreless seventh inning and allowed a leadoff single here in the eighth. Then a sacrifice and a deep fly ball. He got through Gary Owens. And I think that's Nick Michelli's maybe going to take the ball. Or no, you're right, Luke Steinlein. Michelli did walk into the mound and look like he took the ball. But Steinlein is coming in. And
Steinlein could play third. He's a very athletic pitcher, but
he's also a former outfielder for the Disciples as well.
Yeah, but they're gonna. Yeah, I mean, I love this move here. I mean, there's no point in waiting around for the last inning. You got a guy on third and a guy on first now. You need your closer to come in here, get the third out of the inning, and then take you home in the ninth as well.
Yeah, this is a high leverage situation, and you never know if this is the moment when the game really turns or doesn't,
Yeah.
And so, there's no reason to save your closer for
a
ninth inning that may never come.
Absolutely
frankly.
not. Absolutely not. And I mean, it could go in extra innings too, but you can't bank on that. You gotta use them when the time's right.
All right. Well, if it does go to extra innings, then you get to hear me complain about zombie runners. But
Okay,
for
yeah.
now, we are not going to go into that. Yes, it's not a ghost runner, folks. It's a zombie runner. Okay. Let's just get one thing clear. On this broadcast, it's a zombie runner. That's what that's what it's called. So I even got Andreas to say that on Sport 1 once. So I feel vindicated. Anyway, we'll take a short break while Luke Steinlein takes his warm-up tosses. This is Hard Disciples Baseball. It's a good one, 5-3 Heidenheim. 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning, runners on first and third. We are brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu, a very highbrow Brauerei Wildbräu, must I? Well, it was a quick break, and we are back and ready. Steinlein threw his warm-up tosses, and Konstantin Schiele, this is going to be his second at-bat. He grounded to the pitcher. That was against Norell in the 6th. Schiele came in. This would be where Sean Larry was in the batting order. But Ekle took him out of the game in favor of the young Konstantin Schiele, so Schiele gets a chance to drive home a run. And the pitch is inside from Steinlein. Steinlein has not gotten into a game yet this year.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a double steal here, Tim.
Yeah, that's
tough
something
pitch,
that is in the toolbox of Klaus Ekle, for sure.
This is a good matchup for Haar. Steinlein facing the substitute hitter.
And
Some speed on third base. Could be it's a bit of a desperation play by Heidenheim, but you always got to be on your toes.
Well, Jermaine on first base is not, I think, a base stealer, but his only job in this situation would be to cause enough chaos that the runner from third could come home before he gets tagged out.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, you got Steinlein on the mound, a veteran pitcher, knows what to do with the ball. It's not a high percentage play, but you never know.
Not going. The pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1. Previously, a ball had gotten loose. There's activity in the bullpen.
Looks like Drew Jansen's.
Yep.
Although I'm not sure.
Jansen, yeah, it might be him. So, interesting that they are thinking about leaving, taking Bolsenbrook out after 2 innings of work. And the 2-1. That's in there. Strike 2, 2-2. Now Steinlein, so far, nothing but fastballs. If I remember correctly, I don't think he threw a breaking ball, did he? So you know he's got that in his back pocket at some point. And Schiele likely has not faced Steinlein before.
Yeah, no, strikeout would be ideal here.
There goes the runner, Jermaine. And now, here comes the runner to the plate. Steinlein throws him out, and you were right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we thought might happen. Jermaine trying to cause enough chaos, and Steinlein made it look like he was going to throw to second base, turn around, and very calmly threw out Konstantin Hull trying to steal home, and the inning is over. So the failed double steal gets Haar out of the inning.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, that's having a veteran guy on the mound who knows what to do with the ball, who's not going to throw it into center field. Read the play perfectly, gave it up to the catcher, out by 10 feet. Like I said, low percentage play, but worth a shot when you get 2 strikes.
And Steinlein did what he needed to do, and so we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 5-3 Heidenheim. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the highest brow Brauerei, the Wildbräu. The Brauerei Wildbräu. So we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Again, the score bug is taking a minute to update because the e-scoring needs to take account everything that just happened. So 2, 3, and 4 against Mike Bolsenbrook here in the bottom of the 8th. Cal Murphy takes a strike, and then Will Thorpe and Nate-Sean Thomas. Murphy's 0 for 3, flied out, popped out, and struck out. He popped out and struck out twice. Now he shows bunt and lays it down, foul. A lot of bunt attempts in this game by the Disciples. I mean, clearly bunting for a hit, trying to get a base runner on in front of Thorpe.
Yeah, I think that soft grass there can deaden the ball a little bit. And, I mean, you got to do anything you can to get on base against Bolsenbrook. If you're sitting around waiting for a walk, you're going to be
you're going to be waiting a while.
You're going to be waiting a while. You're going to be walking back to the dugout.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting from the sidelines. But, yeah, you know, I think you were right. Drew Ranson was throwing warm-up tosses, and my guess is he was just doing that because if they decide to go to him now, he's standing in the field. But there's also somebody else warming up down the line.
Yeah, it looks like Montgomery.
There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3, off-speed pitch. Nasty location on that one, and Murphy is out. Number 1.
Heidenheim's not afraid to play around with their lineup, or should I say Klaus Ekle is not afraid to play around with the lineup, bring guys in to pitch from the field, makes things a little bit more complicated with your lineup and the DH, but when some of your best athletes are also field players too,
yeah,
it just makes sense.
Will Thorpe steps up to the plate. I remember a few years ago, 5, 6 years ago, I became aware of a rule that I did not know. There's a strike to Thorpe. I think Wes Romer was the pitcher for the Heideköpfe, and he was the starting pitcher. And then they did a double switch, so they took him out of the game as a mound, but did a double switch and put him in the lineup as a DH. And I had no idea that was legal. There's a comebacker. Bolsenbrook with lots of time makes the play to first base.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about that. It's ineffective.
15 or 15 or something. Again, now we're having, for some reason, my stream keeps shutting off. I don't know why. Not sure what the deal is, but my apologies again for the cutoff internet. That was not to do with the internet connection. That had to do with my hard drive being full, I believe. But I still got 25 gigs. What's this all about? Anyway, Nate-Sean Thomas takes a pitch high and outside. Count 2-0.
Looking for a clutch at bat here, veteran at bat with 2 outs. Make something happen, find a way to get on base. Tough against Bolsenbrook, he's pounding the zone, but any way you can do it.
There's a swing and a foul, 2-2.
Thomas always seems like he has a flair for the dramatic, or I felt like he always hit better later in the games, it seemed, and just had that clutch presence.
Well, he's up with 2 outs in the 8th. The Disciples have 4 outs left in this game, and the pitch missed inside. And the count now 3-1. Well, if Nate-Sean can get on base, Simon Lechner would represent the tying run. And he lines it to the gap. He will get on base. And he's going to try to make it to second base, and he will dive in with a double. Nate-Sean Thomas with a double. That is his 3rd hit in 4 at-bats. He's scored 2 runs. So he's been a driving force in the Disciples' offense in this game, and now Simon Lechner steps up to the plate.
That's a hustle double right there. He did not trot out of the box, running hard as soon as he dropped the bat. Saw that Owens had to go quite a ways for it. Didn't come up real strong with it, and Thomas just coasted into second. Great job getting into scoring position.
So Simon Lechner representing the tying run here, and the first pitch is a strike at the knees in the inside corner. Lechner has 2 singles in 3 trips, 2 for 3. He has driven in a run. That was that little bloop single back in the 4th when the Disciples briefly held the lead. And the pitch is a strike called on the outside corner, 0-2. So Bolsenbrook painting at both edges.
Yeah, it looked like Montgomery was warming up to not to go into pitch, but to go into the game.
Right. If Jansen comes into pitch, they
Yeah.
lose the DH, and Montgomery is the DH.
He would go to the infield.
There's a little pop over the shortstop, Jansen, who makes the catch. And so, Klaus Eckler did not have to make any mid-inning pitching changes there as Bolsenbrook works around a 2-out double. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base at the end of 8 complete. We go to the 9th inning here in Haar, home opener on a beautiful day here in April. It is 5-3 Heidenheim. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildebräu. So we go to the top of the 9th inning. A close game. Heidenheim scoring all 5 of their runs in the 5th inning against Steve Norell, who otherwise really dominated the game. He faced the minimum, except for that 1 inning in which he lost a little bit of control.
Yeah, the pitching's lined up really well today for Haar. Norell had a great start. Cowan coming in, throwing strikes, getting guys out. Steinlein coming in here as well. I mean, for Boomer Saunders as a coach, you can't really, draw it up any better than that. Just that 1 bad inning where Heidenheim was able to scrape together some runs. Really, muscled out some singles there. Had some good at bats. Tip of the cap to them, certainly for stringing some hits together and running the bases hard.
1-1 on Konstantin Schiele. Schiele was at the plate when Eckler elected to try to run that double steal. There's a slow ground ball to third. Michelli fires across and makes the play. 1 away. That was Konstantin Hull. They got thrown out trying to steal home to end the 8th inning. Schiele had been at the plate that whole time, saw a bunch of pitches, and now he grounds out. So that's the first out here in the top of the 9th. Kilian Redle to be followed by Maurice Montgomery. So it's 5, 6, and 7 in the order for Steinlein. And he's going to try to send them down and give the Disciples a chance in the bottom of the 9th. They will have 6, 7, and 8 coming up for their part. And it looks as if it's still going to be Bolsenbrook. I don't see any more activity. That pitch was a strike curveball to Redle. Redle today has singled and struck out twice. He also scored. That was in that 5th inning. A pop-up a mile high, shallow center field. Murphy and Rosenthal racing in, and he's the one to pick it off. But it looked like he actually swung trying to hit a pop-up on that. It was like a really directly up into the air.
Yeah, he's got some power, and former Regensburg player. Just missed it a little bit under it there.
Yep, he homered last week, a couple days ago, I think.
Yeah.
In Heidenheim.
He had some really good appearances for Regensburg as well. He just found a home here in Heidenheim. There in Heidenheim.
Well, Heidenheim, not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Maurice Montgomery, the designated hitter, is 0 for 3, and he looks at a pitch outside and low, ball 1. The ball game was started by Steven Norell and Jared Mortensen. Both pitchers were very good Like I said, Norell just the one bad inning. Mortensen gave up 3 hits and 1 run in 5 innings. There's a ground ball to third. Michelli to a knee. Fires to first. And a small collision at first base as Wallace had to sort of dance across the bag to make the play. But no harm, no foul. Everybody seems to be okay coming out of that. Good throw by Nick Michelli. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Steinlein. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Disciples. They trail 5-3. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we get ready to go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Mike Bolsenbrook has pitched 3 innings in relief of Jared Mortensen. Between the two of them, 6 hits, 3 runs, only 2 earned, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts.
Not a ton of surprises there.
Nope, it's just consistency.
Pretty standard line for those two. Like I said, Klaus Ekle had to feel pretty good coming into this game with the bullpen full. Able to get the guys he wanted out on the mound, but I think the Disciples have gotten the guys they want out on the mound lined up pretty well too.
And so now Justin Olich takes a pitch low. Olich is 0 for 3 today. He does have a run batted in on a fielder's choice. This is his second look at Bolsenbrook. And he takes a strike, 1-1. 6, 7, and 8. Olich, Michelli, and then David Wallace. Should anybody reach, Niels Schmidt. And a little ground ball fielded on the first bounce by Bolsenbrook. Olich hustling down the line. But he's beaten by a step with the underhand toss.
And I see Lucas Bickle with a bat in his hand getting ready in the on-deck circle there. Looks like he'll be a pinch hitter for David Wallace.
Bickle, a member of the Austrian national team, so we'll see. He will probably grab a bat.
Either way, somebody's got to hit. Somebody's got to hit here, or work a walk, or find their way on base, reach on an error or something. You got to make it happen. Bolsenbrook's not going to give you a whole lot. You got to earn it right here.
And Michelli takes a strike, breaking pitch on the outside corner. The 0-1. Missed inside, and the count 1-1.
Pretty tight zone, but I mean, Bolsenbrook's the guy you want on the mound if you got a tight zone.
Yeah.
The guy can throw it through a Cheerio.
And a foul tip. That ball hit the bat. It was a check swing by Michelli. Probably had the outside corner anyway, to be honest. So the count 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. That's outside, 2-2. The catcher, Redler, was set up off the plate, and Bolsenbrook hit the mitt, but that was good 6 inches outside.
He's an expert at extending that plate, and they'll set up out there. If he gets it, great. If not, he'll move back inside.
2-2. Hit on the ground to short. Jensen fields, throws, and gets him for out number 2. Well, the Disciples are down to their final out, but they if they do not prevail in this game, they've given Heidenheim a run for their money. That's for sure. Heidenheim, of course, with the depth in the lineup and the pitching staff, and Haar having gotten off to a rougher start than usual, I think it's a good showing for their part to see a game like this play out and just look like a normal baseball game, quite frankly. And so you were right. Lucas Bickel is going to pinch hit for David Wallace. And he swings and pops it up behind the plate. Redler gives it a look. It's out of play. Bickel, sorry, I was just going to say Bickel was the best batter award winner in the Austrian Baseball League last year. So
yeah, he's got some pop. This is a guy you want up here who can make something happen, hit a double in the gap. But either way, you need base runners. Tough spot coming in off the bench, watching a whole game, watching 8.5 innings.
And then you get Bolsenbrook.
Yeah. Good eye there. See how he competes, though. You got to compete here. You got to grind it out. You got to do whatever you can.
Played last year with Feldkirch. 1-1. Cued off the end of the bat to the right side. Liedtke on a bounce fields and throws to first, and that is the ball game. Heidenheim wins by a score of 5-3. Nice fun ball game. 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like this.
Yeah, moved along really well. The pitchers were throwing strikes. They were getting on the mound, delivering, not taking a ton of time in between pitches was really good. Tough start for the Disciples. Tough game for the Disciples, but I mean they were putting a lot of balls in play. Thought the pitching lined up really well for them. Yeah, combination there of Norrell, Cowan, and Steinlein. Yeah, just that one inning, and I give a ton of credit to Heidenheim. They earned it in that 5th inning, running the bases hard, not trying to do too much at the plate. No extra base hits, Owens had a triple in that inning. Yep. But looking like a different style of team in a different ballpark, a singles team. You know, obviously they hit 5 home runs on Saturday, but you know maybe they changed their approach to the opponent they were playing today, and yeah, speaks to their versatility and how they're able to compete at the plate as hitters.
Yeah, good fun ball game. Great atmosphere in the park. A lot of people here. Still burgers and beers to be had for the folks that are still here, including us. And yeah, I'd like to thank you, Alex, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Rick, also joining me, and thanks to Andreas, who is somewhere around here still. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. I will be with you again for the Haar Disciples' next home game. I believe it's against Regensburg next Sunday. I have to check the calendar, but I'll be there.
Yep, Sunday.
And yeah, wishing you a pleasant Easter Monday. Frohe Ostern. Schönen Tag noch. Vielen Dank für die Zuschauer. That's it for us. Remember, go out and get yourself a good Brauerei Wildbräu. And I'll see you next time.